Let's get it. Let's get it. Hello and welcome to day number 4 of PUBG Mobile Club Open. Spring Split Pakistan region is where we're in. Indeed, where you of course have to genuinely thank none other than Reno 5 Pro for of course supporting and making it all happen. But GG's indeed, Ocean. This is day number 4 that we're on already.
Exactly. It's quite dark in here if we just want to talk about this one, right? The
Oh,
way
yes.
it is. But, teams have to focus and shed lights on themselves because there's just one thing that is important, that is to showcase their best of the best gameplays today.
Absolutely, and for that, of course, we've got Group C going against Group D today. But along with that, of course, we talk about the journey that all the groups are on. The road is, of course, going to lead them down towards PMPL Season 3. And in that, Pakistan will have 3 teams, the top 3 teams at the end of course, PMCO.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have a look at the road to PMPL for sure for that thing, and just to see where everything is. 3 from Pakistan, 3 from Bangladesh, 3 from Nepal, and 2 from Wildcard South Asia is where the players will be moving on. So that's the most important thing. And then you can see PMPL Season 2. That's where a few teams are invited from. And the journey is for PMPL Season 3. I mean, it's going to be a tough one for sure.
Absolutely. With that, of course, you're talking about the prize pool. That is going to be at $29,200 set up for all of these teams. But within that, of course, all of these groups and teams are working towards just being in the first, second or third position.
Exactly, and that, I mean, those are the only 3 positions from where you get the qualification slot of PMPL Season 3. Apart from that, till 4th to 32nd, you win the prize money, but you lose on those slots. So you know already it's a fierce competition.
Exactly, because again, you are wanting to prove your mettle and you are wanting to, of course, dominate your entire region. That is the Pakistan region, in which, of course, we've got some incredible teams, and they've only been able to dominate because of the reason that is the kill. The kill that they bring, the dominating play that they bring. So, of course, with that, let's bring up the point system, where as you get the chicken dinner, you do get 15 points, but those kills certainly are going to be the most crucial element from any game.
Exactly, that is totally true with everything. And now, as you can see, first one gets you 15, second gets you 12, third gets you 10. This is the point system. In 1 kill, 1 point. That also still stays out in this one. But still, if we're just talking about all these things and combining, like we've seen a few teams, getting good placement points, but not good kill points. There are a few teams that can get sometimes like 8th place, like this. They end up at 4th position, but they get like what, good kill points. So it kind of fumbles up with everything.
That is so true, and that is so very crucial from all of these teams. And again, you talk about teams. Today we know it is going to be Group C and B. So let's have a look at Group B, where indeed you start off with Retribution, Team Frost, Team 47X, and KOD has been disqualified.
Yeah, those are 4 names. I mean, 3 names that are playing, if anything. 2X official NSC, Team TUF, Team F4, and the Grounders. I would love to see what Grounders do today, and F4 as well. 2X official also had a good day for themselves last time. And, well, Imicals, Blist, Hellraisers, the Royal Star Ops. These are going to be a few good names as well from Group C.
Absolutely, and in that, of course, Hellraisers, they are going to have to genuinely pick up the pace, because till now the days that they've played have not been in their favor, but move on along towards the final 4 teams. Esports Nation has had a good run thus far.
I like the name The Expandables, just like the movie. But we'll have to see if they can, just create the chaos similar to that one. That's one thing for sure, because, it's one thing. Arcadians as well. So Arcadians, like Tala and all those players, I've casted them in the previous PMCOs and all. They have been an incredible team. That's one thing. So if you're coming from the previous PMCOs and all, there's one more, thing on your mind, and that is to continue the same pace of good gameplay and do even better next time, because the teams already know some things about you.
Absolutely, and that is, of course, where you bring in an element of surprise as you move on along from one season to the other. You cannot just stick with the same meta, with the same sort of definition to your team. But with that, of course, talking about the plays, talking about the games, we, of course, are going to have 4 matches, and we'll all start off with Erangel, move on towards Sanhok, and then into Miramar, and finally, to close the day off, it will be Erangel once again.
Exactly, Erangel, Sanhok, Miramar, Erangel. That's how it's going to go. We talk about the fast-paced Sanhok. We'll talk about the slow-paced Miramar. But the first Erangel and fourth Erangel, the differences in both those Erangels as well. That's going to be one of the things that we'll be obviously discussing slowly and steadily. But talking about this one, I mean, after this happens, Group A and D already have completed their 8 games.
Right.
Group B and C will also. We're talking about the first day. First day is about understanding. Group A and B understand each other. They understand the map meta. Group C and D, they understand each other.
Right.
But once it's the second time you guys are playing, it's your 5th to 8th match. That's when you have to execute your against your mistakes that you might have made in the previous time when you were playing. So today is a really crucial day for these teams as well.
Absolutely, because till now all they would have or should have done is to just go on to that stream and just Go through all the teams and their plays.
Just
and
have a look at all those things.
Right.
Your highlights and your opponent's highlights.
Yes, so true, so very true. Because again, that is what will determine and define your approach as you move on along. Because again, this was only 6 days, right? Through which we're already on the 4th day. So there's only 2 more days remain in the group stages. After which, only 16 teams move forth.
I mean, that is totally how it has to go, right? And then there will be the finals, the final for PMCOs will be happening, and then from there teams will move into PMPL. PMPL, obviously, it's a league stage, happens so like all over a month scenario, the span of a month, and then obviously the finals of PMPL will be happening. I would be happy to see if a Pakistan team, qualifies for the next bigger stage, because last time I still remember Team Bablu was out then. They were really close, so if something happens this time, maybe we'll see a Pakistani name as well. Because last time it was teams from Bangladesh, PMCO Esports, and obviously ASL and DRS qualifying for PMGC from Nepal.
Absolutely, and again, the plays that they showcased in the previous season were just dominating force. And again, talk about Bablu and the gameplay that they brought from Pakistan region was just phenomenal. And now, of course, is going to be the contestation against Group B and C. In that, of course, we've seen the Grounders. The Grounders were the one on Sanhok as well as Miramar. Back-to-back chicken dinners is what they brought. But on the other side, of course, was Esports Nation as well as other teams who have showcase that prowess, but they have to move along with that attitude and not just stick to that.
I mean, that's one of the most important things. Plus, obviously, we will be going into the match really, really soon. And with that, the most important thing will be about learning the metas. See, every player, every team has 4 players. One's going to be the IGL, obviously, that will be giving all the calls, the short calls and everything. One might be the filter, might be the scout as well. And then there will be an entry fragger. So it all comes down and boils down to one thing. Suppose IGL says you can take that fight. Entry fragger enters and tries to take that fight. Maybe entry fragger does make a mistake, and that comes down to the whole team. Maybe IGL says don't take that fight, and in the parallel universe, entry fragger might have clutched a 1v4. So you never know, right? What comes down to everything. So every crucial detail that you gotta see has to be in these matches, and you have to just make or break your game right now.
Exactly, and in that conversation again, it always boils down towards communication itself within the team itself, right? Within the team, if there is a proper synergy, it's almost like a fist being created amongst the 4 players, the 5 players that are there, that are talking to each other, which is going to be so very crucial, because they do need to understand each other, and they need to trust each other as well as they get into fight or as they're leaving a certain scenario and moving away rotation wise as well.
I mean, it is needed, right? You're talking about the rotations as well. If we are talking about a map like Miramar, you can have like easy rotations inside the circle. It's a really big circle.
True.
You don't have to be worried about if your area it will be contested. It might be, it might not be. That's obviously a game of chance, though. But if you're talking about Sanhok, there are high chances that the place where you're coming from, because the circle is smaller. Obviously, right from the start, you might just see a few teams right next to each other. That's one thing. But if you're talking about Erangel, you have to move smartly. You have to, find out good areas. Everyone, each and every player, even you, even me, even these players, when you install the game, the first map that you see is Erangel. You have to download the maps. That's the other thing. But you see Erangel. It's the default thing. You gotta learn all the basics of all the areas around Erangel.
Absolutely, no question about it. And for that, of course, I'm pretty certain that when it comes to these teams, they have played this map so very much, and it has almost been engraved into their minds as to where exactly, even if they close there, they've no idea where they've been dropped, and they will get to know based on just the buildings and the surrounding that, all right, this is where I'm at, and the map location and that's so very crucial, and that automatically happens when you talk about these sort of stages and the teams participating.
I mean, that's how even we understand, all right, so these are like 3 big buildings that might be military base, 3 building, the C building situation. That's how you kind of understand. You get in the game. The game is actually in the players right now. They are in the zone, and once they drop down, they just have one thing. I always say this: it's not just a game; it's a performing art. You have to showcase why you and your team is better than 15 other teams, or you are better than even 60 other players. Given that your team obviously has all the 3 other players around you, so your players and your team is better than all the other teams, because once you showcase something, you might as well create the game of the game of the league probably. You might just create that.
True, and another conversation that I absolutely love that you did have on another desk was the fact that, yes, eventually it is the same game. It is exactly the same gun that might be available to the other player as well. They might have the exact same attachments as well. But eventually, again, what you're talking about is how are you differentiating yourself with that same gun, with that same approach. And that, of course, falls back down to your skill, but also the synergy of the team, because it is not a one-man army. It is supposed to be 4 squad members combining their efforts together, getting the information, relaying it back, and then pushing on along with the flanks or whatever different approach that you might have.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to one thing. You might be having an AK, your opponent might be having an AK, and both have to use it at the exact same time. Well, one stays alive, the other one goes down. Why does that happen? It comes down to, you know, how are you... Because, see, both of you may be hitting 33 bullets, but it's like, how many bullets did you actually connect? And in what areas? Maybe someone was aiming just for the head. Maybe you were aiming... Probably you started shooting a bit early. You saw the first shot, you know, getting connected at the leg, and you're like, all right, so there's a marker. I'll just shoot there, so things might just go bad.
So true, so true. Again, I mean, that is where things genuinely do take a different curveball altogether. That is where you talk about teams in a different light, where this team, yes, they did perform really well, whereas this team, they could have probably done better. The situation awareness also comes into play, where, again, you are in the exact same house, let's say, and your team members are far, far away. You're the scout, you're the only man alive over there, and you're being pushed. We've seen that sort of an approach as well, where indeed the one-man army ends up utilizing that position so perfectly and beautifully. That again is based on, well, how are you reading the game? How are you reading the push of the opponent team?
It just comes down to this one thing as well. Suppose if a team wants to push in and you are afraid, you are all alone. It's stairs area, you just throw 2-3 grenades.
Exactly.
Your opponents will never know it's just out there. They might be just, you know, rushing in there like rush, rush, rush. Boom, it's done.
And it's done. With that, of course, it is time to get busy with this game and move on into the Erangel map. So, for that, of course, we've got the flight path on our screens.
All right, so here we start up with the military base onto the backline. Still Stalba is where we are looking forward to. Farm, Pochinki, School, Mansion, Yasna, those are good areas. I want to see a few teams just drop down to military base and Novorupna if the teams actually want to go out onto those areas, because those will be good areas. Well, that's one thing that we'll have to see. But Georgopol, we'll see if a team goes down to Georgopol, and maybe if a team wants to play safe, they might as well just start by 7 years RK if they want to just, you know, see how the teams will be playing and they want to play against the odds or something like that.
True, absolutely correct. And with that, we've got the first dropping team right here onto the military base, and that is going to be the team of Esports Nation, followed by Hellraisers. Not bad at all. On the other side, of course, you talk about TG. That is Honey that you see going on down towards Primorsk, towards the southwestern side of the map, and that is going to be the entire team of the Grounders going down for their wonderful setup and looting awesomeness. But move the conversation towards a bit more of the center-based map, and this is where you talk about TUF making an approach towards Gatka region, and Royals moving down towards Milta from the looks of it for now.
Well, Primorsk is where you can see a squad of TZ just going down. ESN's players, all right, they're looking really good onto the military base area. Well, if we're just talking about Novorupna, we can see a squad just slowly and steadily, you know, Hellraisers just going out there. That looks like a good area for themselves as well. So, I don't know about Grounders. I feel like, you know, they might as well have a really good open area for themselves. Depends obviously where the circle forms on. And the circle did just form on. We could not see the circle as of now because, you know, that's going to be one story. We'll see the circle soon, that's for sure. But if we have to talk about the fights and all, the most important thing is I want to see where the first blood happens, and if something like that happens, you remember yesterday's last match, like that was the key match, you know, if one player goes down, the squad goes down.
Exactly, I mean, that was just perfect, and I'm expecting the same kind of synergy and awesomeness from these groups today as well, because yesterday it was, of course, Group A and D, and they were playing the final game on Erangel, where right off the bat, within the first 3 minutes to 5 minutes, we had at least 2 squads completely being sent back into the lobby, and that was just dominating play all across the board from all the teams. But with that, we've got the circle coming on.
So bridges are going to be one of the most crucial things. Now, after the second zone, it will be properly, you know, understood if the circle goes up north or south. Because right now, obviously, it has the full military base area. There are chances. So what happens is if you have 100% of the military base area, circle 99% comes down. Because, you know, that's the island that constitutes 100% of its own area inside the zone. But if till the second circle, the upper area is out there, that means the circle will go up north. And then it creates a void onto farm and military. And then there's a big water stream in between. So players onto a certain side, they might have to just, you know, swim and they get caught off. So it's a gamble with the circle right now.
So very true. But in that, of course, as we're looking at the map, we look at Star, that is up on top north side towards Severny, and that is Star, the team that was all by themselves playing 3-man army in the previous games, but now they have all 4 of their squads. And on that, of course, we've got already the first knock coming here from the side of Arc, and this is looking phenomenal. What team is that? That is TUF Venom taking a knock right here, and that, of course, is going to convert into our first kill. That is the first blood coming in from Tala.
Well, Arcadian Stala does start off on a really good note. The shotgun to the finish, that was a good one. And the thing is, the guy did not have any vest, though. I mean, it could have gone back. It could have backfired. You never know what your opponent might be carrying on, might not be carrying. We see the guns and all, but your opponents, that's a whole different story. Talking about TUF's other players, Thor, Edgar, and ESP, well, they have to move forward. You can see ESP out here, and ESP is just moving out onto the Gatka lines, and that's outside the circle, but not exactly a lot out of the circle, so they can, make their way in a safer approach inside circle. Plus, given the fact that it's 40 seconds, they might have to, gather their loot fast and start moving in.
Absolutely, and with that, of course, as we just noticed, TUF, it also seemed like their drop did kind of falter along the line. And with that, of course, the first kill, that was Venom, that was the first blood of this game. He probably did not have any helmet, any gun, any vest whatsoever at all. And of course, that is what was against him. But move the conversation towards Pochinki, where we see Team Frost right here getting themselves perfectly set up and getting all the loot for themselves, because there's no team around that seems to be able to contest them, and that is just working in their favor. GG's.
Well, Maxima, Klaus, Walker, and Reaper, they have a proper area for themselves. One of the most comfortable areas. If you don't get a fight early, you are in your comfort zone to play the game. That's what Pochinki is all about. Well, we're looking at F4 as well. They are onto the backsides of Lipovka. Obviously, they'll be starting up at a good area, and they have a circle. They have the circle for themselves right now. Obviously, the circle has to move just a bit onto the southern side. That's where this team will have to see what they can do. But right now, if it's looking at the prison area as well. So, prison is a really tricky area to play if the circle goes there. I mean, you can be either on the upper side of prison or you can be on the lower side of prison. And if you're on the lower side, every crosshair might just be on you. So it's a tricky affair. But in the starting moments, I mean, no one's going to, go and take an aggressive fight or something.
Absolutely. With that, of course, the name of this team is none other than Expendables, and they were the ones who were moving towards the side of prison. So, of course, they have that, perfect approach within their mindset that, all right, we're Expendables, and we know we're going to be able to clutch this no matter what team will be there to contest. But as of now, as we can clearly see, there is no team, and they are looking pretty A-okay with their rotations and going to be moving away from that. But move on down towards Mansion. We see the team right here of course, the Royals, I believe it was. No, it was the RTN, that was Retribution. And indeed, that team was also looking A-okay. With that, they have no team around them to contest. So, for now, it is a slow start into the game.
As of now, everyone's just moving up from one direction to the other. And yes, if we are just talking about a few teams, all we can say and all we can see is that a few teams have already started their rotations from one direction to the other. We can talk about Team Frost in this one. See, they were in Pochinki at one moment, and in just a hint of like 2 minutes or something, now they are moving on to the military base area, starting off from Pochinki, and that's a good thing. I mean, that gives room for TUF to just get inside the circle and find a suitable area for themselves. Probably there might be one team that will be contesting the shorelines on the back end side just to see onto the other directions as well. But if you're just talking about the bridge contestations, they might just happen up right now. All right, well, he did go on to the other side, but 2x official NSC Sajid is already trying to take a few players on. But well, this might be a bit of a troubling situation for the Expandables. One direction there was one team, and onto the other direction we can see Royals players.
Ouch. This is genuine ouch for this team, because again, they've been caught off guard, and Royal Charlie bring in that perfect kill to himself.
He stole the kill.
Because again, the way TE was approaching this, it was just phenomenal. They were just being pushed along, and they were sandwiched basically between the Royal as well as the other side. They had
Expandables.
Yes.
Yeah. So Expandables was out there, but they had 2x official NSC onto the other side. So they are being, just torn down in this area now. Thug is just solo surviving out in this one. How long can he survive? Because the backup has to arrive. The backup is onto the other side, and obviously the backup should not come right now. It's like it might be a bad thing. You can see both the players out there, but I think Doctor still thinks that the player is in the smoke, and that's why he's just shooting out here. He actually has to look back, but well, again, it's actually stuck between a rock and a hard place is what it is.
It certainly is. There's no two ways about
and again,
it.
a kill gets stolen.
Amazing turn of events. I mean, this is just a perfect domination between 2x and Royal coming in, and that is just TE under the crosshair, under the fire, and two players have been, well, they have been sent back into the lobby, and the other two are going to have to keep a back-end approach to this entire situation for now.
Now they know it's 4 players here, 4 players there. So all those 2 players, Psycho and Pan, they cannot move right now. If they move, they know once again.
They better not.
I mean, it's a fight between Royal and 2x to see who takes expandable skills. That's what is happening. You saw 2x. They knocked down the players, but the thing is, Royal was, they were fast enough to get those skills for themselves.
Right.
Points matter.
Points matter big time, and that is why we see 2x bringing in that early aggression from far away. Even though Royals were right up TE, they were not able to clutch both of those knocks, because because it was 2x. There was hungry for those kills, and from far away as well, with just a red dot, was able to, just, all right, it's my kill, dude. Do not contest me for this. And with that, of course, as we said, TE is down to 2 players. But Royals have, of course, given away the information, and now the conversation would probably lead down towards 2x against Royals. That is going to be Doctor and Charlie defending that fort and bridge. But again, it is too early right now. They should probably make a rotation and get out of there, because they are not, Royals that is not looking in a good spot.
Well, listen, and Kratos, we're talking about these 2 players. They are having a really good area for themselves. But Pan takes down the fight on Sergeant. He does take him down. But the thing is, finishing is a different job. You can, just do this. But now even the players know that this team was reduced to 2-man squad, so they can take up a fight. All right, so this is a military-based circle. As just we were talking about, this is officially a military-based circle right now. The circle will go just a bit up north, just taking on to the mountain side. That's where the zone will go. I would say you can look at the players of Team 47. They can use the water area right now, because if they are late, teams might just start contesting the other side of the island.
Absolutely, and right here on the right-hand side, on the eastern side, we can see that Hellraisers has already set up themselves for that bridge camp, and Royals are certainly pushing on along that bridge that they were trying to contest, and they were able to get a few kills. But now they could be in a bit of a trouble, where tricky situation could be Royals would be stuck on the bridge. One side would be Hellraisers. On the other side, of course, TE Pan, we just saw bringing in that early domination, and 2x is not that far behind as well.
I want to see which team, gets the bad out of their rotations. Because you can see Team Stars, they were really far away from the circle, and Arcadians as well. No doubt Arcadians had the first fight in their hands, but the thing is, they are slow on their rotations right now. And given the fact this is a bridge rotation, it might just be a bad thing.
Interesting. I mean, why do you think, Ocean, did Esports Nation just completely cross that first airdrop and not even decide to stop there? Could it probably just be because it was out in the open? I mean, that also has...
Probably, yeah, that would have been one thing. And probably maybe someone would, loot them afterwards, just after seeing the areas around, and then they might just go for the loot. Something like that. Like, players, they just want to do this. All right, so here's one thing. Kratos does not have a helmet yet.
Right.
I mean, that's something that won't assure me for one thing. I mean, he could have found out a level 1 or something. You need a helmet. Yes. You're using a car 90. That's a good thing. But well, I want to see what happens. Klaus here can spot down one player, tries to take him down. Oh, he was actually spraying on 2 different players. That's why he lost both of them. That is something that just happened. Had he continued his spray on Thor or maybe just Edgar, he could have taken at least 1. But now he spots 1 player's feet. Can he take this one down? All right, so he's trying good. 12 bullets onto his mag. Oh, brilliant save.
What a perfect play this is from TUF. Of course, we saw the initial buggy just jumping on across to the left-hand side of this bridge as soon as Klaus started firing, open firing. But eventually, again, all 4 players are looking absolutely fine with only 30% damage to their health. Frost Klaus, this was not the outing that he was expecting. But with that, Immobile is taking in that early domination.
Yeah, Immobile, they are looking really good. I mean, they have done a bit of a damage onto their opponents right now. Retribution, they'll have to see what they can do. A good grenade is just going out. Oh, he does spot down 1. I mean, that's one thing. But now, I want to see what Afnan can actually do in the situation. The thing is, he needs the cover and he needs right now. But Scout has been taken down. Ninja and Khan are on to the other side. But if you see Retribution's players, you can see Roshan having a really good area for himself. They have a vehicle cover and he can go to the shack as well. He's just going for it. All right, so he's just taking his buggy, moving on to the back end side. I want to see where Ninja is. Also, Ninja is really far away. He might as well take down 1 player, but the thing is, he should just rush in behind this house. Might as well, try to confuse his opponents, and then they can take up a good fight.
With that, right now, of course, we see that he is on his way down towards this compound, and Immobilists have one thing completely set up for themselves, which is that they do not want to leave any man behind. But all right, this could be a troublesome affair for Afnan, where there was a grenade being launched, but eventually it was just dropped outside the house and not inside. Had it gone inside, and there, along with that, we do have another wonderful grenade being brought in from the side of Retribution. But indeed now they have Immobilist that has all 4 players up and ready to contest against the push coming in from Retribution.
Well, now the circle, it's surely going to show up just a bit of a northern shift, if anything. And yes, it does, just like we were talking about it. It's going to go to northern to the mountain side. That's where the circle is perfectly as it is. And right now, Bacha also, so these players have to move onto the sides of circle. You cannot take up the fights in the farm area. You have to cross the bridge. And that's where lots of teams are. You'll have to see if you go outside the circle and then go inside the circle. Like, what is going to be your rotational strategy? That's one thing. But hey, Immobilists, they do spot down a few players. But is this right or is this wrong? I mean, look at the Scout and Afnan. Both are outside. I mean, in Team Star, they are looking really good. No, Scout goes down. Afnan goes down. F4! Out of nowhere, they are taking over a fight. But what is Team Star going? All right, so they are just moving. They are like, no, we don't want any fight.
Nope, Star does not want any of this outing right now because they've come from a far, far away and they've not lost. They're not going to stop and get into this fight just to lose the war, because after all, they have made a humongously long rotation, and right now, of course, their main position is going to be to get into the zone first and early. But with that, F4, just perfect outing for them. I mean, from nowhere, F4 bringing in the player and knocking two of them down, Immobilist, down to 2 players for now.
Well, this just was, in a different stance, as you can see. Well, right now, Team Star, I mean, they did have a board, but they're like, if they see it on the board, they just, turn it around, they might be spotted. So they have to wait. They have to wait right now. But imagine if someone comes on and takes that board, snatches away, and just runs away. That's going to be something different, though. But well, Immobilist, they're also outside the circle, and now the circle's going to come in. The thing is, they want to look after F4's players because they know a team is behind them, and they want to take the players down because of Nan and Scout. Well, they did go down by those players.
Exactly. So Immobilist certainly has to have their crosshairs set up for F4. But with that, we're talking about Hellraisers and Royals trying to come into this, and for that, Snakers is ready. There is a lot of damage coming in, but along with that, no knocks thus far, and Hellraisers have not been able to capitalize on even a single knock. But it seems like he still has the opportunity to be able to do so, but he does not again bring any of those wonderful sprays onto the team.
He did do a lot of damage to the first 2 players, but then he, messed down onto the other 2. Well, one of them did go down because the vehicle was damaged already, and that's where you can see Royal Charlie just down. The other players, they are still moving up forward. You can see Royal Gangster, he's just moving up right ahead. Ronnie, I mean, one player did start it. You can see Snaker did start it, and Ronnie did finish the job. He did not obviously get the confirmation yet. The team is still having no kill for themselves. Playzone is now becoming the main villain of the story and is trying to take down the players. But look at this. TE's 2 players. Finally, they're trying to make it inside the circle. I'm just hoping it's not too late for them.
Exactly.
But, so Snaker's going out. Otherwise, Snaker was out here. Imagine if that would have been the case.
Boy, oh boy, well, that early, or not early rather, late rotation coming in for TE certainly seems to have worked out for them, and this is looking phenomenal. The final circle, as we move on towards the final circle rather, F4 is not looking good, Retribution is not looking good. Also talking about F4, they have themselves split in 2-man squads, and that could be very big issue for the side. But along with that, of course, you talk about Immobilist, Khan, and the other player. They have also started bringing that rotation. They've never mind the F4 teams. They are just going to be bringing themselves towards the circle.
Exact circle, just like I said. I just say good things. Well, now MP are just looking forward and moving on to everything, and this is the only reason I don't play competitive.
Well, again, I mean, you talk about Guruji Ocean. He's always bang on the money. There's no 2 ways about it. But indeed, with that, you move on along to the side of F4. Now that rotation for them could backfire because they did end up taking a bit too long. Keeping in mind, F4 has their squad set up in 2-man squads, and that could be a big defining force as to how exactly will F4 be stopped in that rotation. But again, you move towards the circle itself. There are a lot of teams, for example, Esports Nation getting themselves perfectly set up with all 4 members alive into the compound, into the zone, into the circle, and Hellraisers are taking up the mountain top, which of course is going to work out in their favor. But it seems like Star is getting knocked and getting a little bit of damage from the side perhaps of Hellraisers for now.
I mean, the water areas also, if you're under the water, that also does a bit of a chip down. That's also one thing. But talk about Team F4. I just want to, pinpoint one thing. The only team that's outside the circle, they have the green marker around them. Plus, they have all the 4 players surviving. No one at this point, when you have the highest skills, as of now in the lobby, no one would want to go by the zone, right? They would want to take that circle fight, and they would want to snatch the circle away from their opponents. But well, T's pan also goes down. That means 1 player of the Expendables is surviving. That Psycho. And well, Retribution Bacha, he wants to move forward in this area as well. Has 35 bullets of the Uzi. Can he or can he not take the fight? 22 bullets in the hands. And look at that. 2 players are just moving up forward. There it is. The first team to get eliminated.
With that, the Expendables getting sent back into the lobby, and that is Retribution bringing in control over that area. But move the conversation towards, again, Hellraisers. They are set up once again as they stick to the edge of the circle. They're waiting for rotations of other teams, and they're trying to hopefully keeping their fingers crossed, basically, that there will be another team that will be coming on down towards their side, and they will have their crosshairs all set and ready.
Aimless Ninja, Aimless Khan, those players are going down. Look at this. Nichols, they have been taken down as well. Slowly and steadily, the players are going down. TG Honey goes down by F4 Voltex. Well, they are still giving up a good fight. They are inside the circle right now. And once F4 is actually in the zone, they will be unstoppable.
Absolutely. For now, they certainly are in control. And with that, they've already started taking fights against the side of Retribution. For now, we can see grenades being popped towards the side of Retribution. There also seems to have been a lot of damage that Bacha has taken for now. But indeed, as as this push converts, what exactly will it convert towards? Will F4 be able to convert those 3 kills into 4 and 5 days? There you can clearly see that there are a lot of grenades being utilized, and utilities are the most crucial and essential force for this push.
Well, they slowly and steadily are just trying to move forward. Hassan takes down Adnan onto the other side. But hey, Ruff is on low HP. Onto the back inside. F4 still has to make it inside the circle. A few players, they have to. But this H2H fight, I think F4 has an upper hand on this one. They have a good area. One more good grenade goes on. It might as well take down Bacha onto the situation. I mean, he is getting a damage of 20 right now. Circle's going to do the rest. Ruff, he does stand up. But can he take that buggy? I mean, it's going to be a really risky affair. F4, they want these 2 kills. See, every kill matters. Every player matters. But hey, Bacha's grenade takes on Wolverine. Now it's going to be a challenging thing for Wolverine to get inside the circle. Otherwise, the zone damage is also just coming up. Destroyer has to revive his teammate, and a good grenade is actually being lofted down to his direction as well. Now, what can Retribution do? Wolverine, the clock is ticking. The circle is out there. The zone damage is going to be a lot. And now the grenade, one smoke, I guess, has been lofted down up front of them. And yes, that was a good smoke, but a good grenade now is going down. What's going to happen? Oh, the players are going down. Vortex goes down by Bacha. Can he take the team against their will? Wolverine, another knock onto that guy, and the finish will be coming. But no, Bacha goes joins one final player surviving. Rafe has been spotted down as well. The damage is being done on him. No, he's going to go for the revive as well. Oh my god, this is a different sort of a war right now. But can they not save Wolverine? That's the question. I mean, how much time is there for the next circle to commence?
Absolutely, because right now, again, F4 was looking very much in control of this push, but eventually, again, the way Retribution has just... Whoa, with that third party's coming in from the behind and the rear, there is no way Wolverine will be saved. And along with that, there is another kill coming in from the side of F4, down to 2-man, which will probably convert into 1-man, and Retribution walking away very comfortably 3-0 now.
Retribution also has 1 man surviving. Right? It's a fight of 1v1, and Nan gets spotted down onto the other direction, and the spray continues because those kill numbers are important. Whoa! How did he survive that? How did he survive that? He takes down another one. Now it's a 1v2 situation. Has an Uzi. Can he take another one? No, that was so close. That was so close. But now Khan, he is moving up forward. He got the best out of this fight. He can make his way inside the circle, and that's what he is going for. Meanwhile, Ronnie will get up a revive.
Absolutely, and with that, you move the conversation towards Hellraisers. They have 2-man remaining right now and 1 knocked. They are probably going to have to get him revived if they want to be able to contest into the final circle. With that, we see MGS pushing on down towards that small little compound, which again will be in their control, no questions asked. But Royal right here seems to have an upper advantage down towards the side of TG it was. But MGS, yes, they are contesting against Team 47. They've already got 1 knock, that is from the side of Oreo, but Team 47 does have another player right next to him, so he will be able to get a revival, and the knock will not be confirmed into a kill.
Okay, well, yeah, they are, using everything in their power to take down those players onto the other side. You can see 47. I mean, the revive will come in, but once they go out, it's obviously the team of MGS that is, ready for those kill points. 4 players, 4 hunters, just, waiting for the opponents to make up a mistake. Royal Doctor, meanwhile, takes down Honey, and Snake also goes down in the situation. Well, seems like Orange has been spotted down as well. Oh, damage of 12 was done out there, but the thing is, can you or can you not take down more and more damage points from your opponent? They did, I think, yeah, they spotted on the players of TG, but TG, they are in a lot of trouble right now. That lower ground,
right?
It's a bad news.
It certainly is certainly going to be turning into a bad news for the side of TG, but Royal right now certainly in control with a lot of information towards them. There is TUF though that has spotted a few players of Royal that could be detrimental for the side of Royal, but again, the conversation will be, will TUF be able to convert that information into some knocks or kills? As of now, TUF certainly leaving that compound, and with that, Royal still have a lot of upper hand in so many different fights that they are a part of for now.
Somehow you can see Arcadians, well, the players have to move forward. They need to go for 1 revive, and I think, yeah, the revive has been done. It's still, all these players still surviving out in this one. MGS, we'll still have to see, how the situation just panned down. Well, ESP takes down Tala, and Arcadians will be looking into a bit of a trouble right now. I mean, the next player, Gambler, might have been the next one to be taken down. Oh, those were some good shots by Edgar. The spray continued from all directions, and he did go down. And now it's down to Gambler. No, it's not down to Gambler, because Gambler's down himself. Fazan is the last one surviving. TUF might as well obliterate the competition. Thor is down onto the other side, but what can he do? Look at this Fazan. He is on to the verge of being taken down, low on HP. ESP is really close to him. He has DP in his hands. Will no do. And there it is.
There it is indeed. Arc has been sent back into the lobby thanks to TUF. And on the other side, of course, you talk about TG and F4. TG certainly seems to be in control and has knocked down another player of F4, which will be quite a push because, again, Oh, never mind. Eliminated Team F4 is, and TG certainly will be able to get themselves away from that small little crevice that they were stuck in and up towards the circle slowly and steadily for now. As you move on down towards the kill feed itself, 2x is also taken in a lot of wonderful positions and bringing down the push coming in from Royal.
Well, somehow TUF will have to, look forward to everything. I mean, Thor didn't need up a revival. He will get up that revival right now. They got all the 4 kills right now. Before that, they did not have any. But talking about MGS, they have 8 kills. I mean, looking onto the momentum, MGS has a really good momentum, but a good grenade can actually stop that. Will it or will it not? The grenade seems fine, but it was just a bit short. But in the open, you get punished. You go down, but hey, ESP, he was not ready for that one. And you can see Adil taking him down, and now Oreo is onto the other side. All Oreo wants is that his teammate comes down to the shack so that the revive should come in and they will be comfortably inside the circle. That's a really, really brilliant thing. Circle will be just closing up down. Right now, we have 5 teams remaining. Frost, Magnus, Grounders, TUF, and the Royals. Team Grounders, I mean, the Grounders can again go for a really good game, but the fact is, again, that lower ground is not helping them at all.
Absolutely. For now, TG is desperately wanting to get an upper hand in this entire section of the final circle that we're looking at. In that, of course, you talk about MGS and their approach. It has just been phenomenal. Magnus certainly having the forecast in their favor, but they certainly do seem to be in a bit of a trouble against TUF because they are being spotted from left as well as right, and Oreo is the only one, along with Keps, who is at the back end, who has the comfort of that small little cottage. Yeah. But apart from that, there's nothing that can help the side of MGS.
Well, as of now, that is totally true. But hey, you can see all the shots just, going down left, right, and center. And we still have to see how things just pan out as Keps is onto the to one side. And this is going to be just a bit bad. Oreo goes down as well. ESP is looking really good and really comfortable, taking down all those kills, snatching down a team's happiness as the players are slowly and steadily being turned down to crates. TUF is actually a tough team right now.
Absolutely. And again, I mean, you talk about breaking this small little push coming in from Magnus' side. What exactly was going on in their mind? Why were they wanting to push along with no smoke?
That open rush.
Right. Yeah. The open rush does not make any sense, even though you know that you are at a lower advantage of the hill. And there are, of course, going to be teams that will, of course, know the information that will be relayed towards the entirety of TUF. And that's exactly what ESP has utilized in his favor. But talk about Team Grounders. They have the control. They have been able to move away from that small little crevice that they were in. And Royals are in trouble with that. Of course, information has been given away by Abdul's first of out. Well,
wow. Crisis obviously helping his teammate to achieve the best, but Gangsters outside the circle. Zone's gonna take you down. Yes, it will. The play zone will be the end for Royals, and there it is. The team gets eliminated, but look at this now. Frost Walker, he's just trying to do everything in his favor just to get his first kill. In this particular match, the team has 4, obviously, but this individual, he still needs those kill numbers for himself. Onto this, a good grenade that does come down onto Klaus. He barely survives.
Wow, with just 10 HP remaining, somehow that grenade was not able to bring Klaus back into the lobby, but indeed that was just perfect aggression. And that is exactly what we're seeing, because we've only got 4 teams remaining, through which there is Magnus, who has only 1-man army. You talk about Frost, they have all 4 members alive. TUF has 3 people, and the Grounders is left with just 1. That is going to be Crisis.
Whoa, well, Crisis out here, but Thor takes down Frost Walker, YT. Look at Klaus, low on HP, does not have a helmet, but well, Grounders did get eliminated onto the 4th position. We are down to 3 teams right now. TUF is on a really good roll. Magnus, 1 player surviving. All he can do is just, fight that circle right now, because Zone is damaging him. Can he or cannot? Oh, he is fighting. He is fighting the Zone. He is fighting the Zone badly, but how long can he fight? He makes himself inside the circle by a miracle, and he takes down 1 as well. He finishes him. He needs those kill points. He is doing good, but well, he does the damage. The damage has been done. It's a 2v4. Can TUF actually fight this one?
This is just incredible play coming in from the last player of Magnus. Of course, they will get eliminated and sent back into the lobby, but the way that entire perfect push came in along in favor of him, he did end up getting away with 1 more kill and 1 more point. But talk about the push coming in from the side of TUF and Frost. Now, this could be trouble for the side of Frost because they are at the edge. TUF certainly should have the advantage, but of course, for now, they will not want to utilize any of those utilities because that will give their information away.
It's a 2v3. It's a 2v3. And TUF, they have come so far not to lose at this moment. They spot down one. Edgar, he was just out there. You can see he is right going on to the left-hand side of the players. He might as well spot Walker onto the right-hand side. They are really close to each other. ESP, he'll stay behind. That's a really good strategy right now, just to keep your marker for yourself. Edgar can spot at least one player. Reaper wants to go for his own right-hand side's location. Klaus is in the middle. Walker, he's going right next to the airdrop just to get a level 3. If he can find that, that's a really brilliant strategy. But now the smoke falls down, so it's going to be the fights will start happening really soon. All right, ESP, is he playing or is he playing? I mean, he was in the vehicle, just wanted to give that information probably or something like that. He wanted to make a perfect cover for himself.
Absolutely, and with that, right now it is Edgar against Klaus, and Klaus certainly has been brought down by Edgar. Edgar is bringing that knock, certainly should want to convert that into a kill. But of course, with that, there are some utilities that could very well be utilized in this position, whereas Frost still not looking too good because they don't have a lot of information towards the side of TUF, and those smoke walls that are being created to defend Frost is also the detrimental reason why they don't have the information.
The bad part is, look at this, they have to get inside the circle, but hey, Edgar, he spots on one more, takes him down. This game just suddenly changed down into a different situation. Walker goes down, Klaus on low HP, he goes down as well. TUF is really tough right now.
What a phenomenal play. What an incredible play that was from the side of TUF. It was a 3v2 situation, but to be able to clutch that into your side was just GG play coming in from the side of Team TUF. And with that 13 kills, 2034 damage in the total game, that was phenomenal. Walking away with 28 points. Wow.
I mean, if you're just talking about this one, you remember MGS's one final player who fought the circle, came and took down one player of TUF.
Yes.
He was almost about to break the game of TUF.
That is true, and yet the fort of TUF held strong and they pushed on along even though at a man disadvantage.
Brilliant.
The way they played actually is, again, you talk about understanding the game mechanics, that was just plain down perfection. The way Frost was utilizing that, I mean, yes, bring in smoke walls, it will of course defend you, but for how long?
I mean, that is totally true. Let's have a look at the MVP as well. And let's see who is it. It's from TUF. Yeah, it is Edgar. 7 kills by this lad. Wow. Almost like 900 plus damage and healing 120. So there's the thing that, we talk about damage given to damage taken ratio. Right. Your healing is 120. That means this is a brilliant ratio if we just talk about this one.
Exactly. I mean, he was just the dominating force. Whichever fight he stepped into, he never, or not never, because he did have 128 healing, but there's just very little healing, right? And that's just perfect. But move the conversation towards the top players from this game. We are, of course, going to be looking at this team of TUF, but alongside which, who else is going to be there?
Well, ESP's out here. Adil is there. Rafe. I mean, Retribution also started off really good fights. I mean, if we just talk about this one, there was some good bridge block movements by Hellraisers, I would say, that would have gone against some of these players. MGS, I would say this team was doing brilliant till the time, obviously, the three of them were it was like 3 teams surviving. Skip's last player, that was brilliant. He just jumped in to get inside the circle, just sat down there. He saw someone, he was like, no, I see an opportunity, I'll take that.
Exactly. I mean, as you had mentioned it, and we've looking at it, it certainly seemed like he's just going to go for the, medkit fight, but eventually, again, move the conversation towards the match summary itself, the information, which will have the highest kill, the 7 kills. That is, of course, from the side of TUF, Edgar, but move it towards Magnus Kept. That was just perfect play night.
300 plus meters of longest kill. That's impressive. Wolverine taking down 3 assists from F4, and it's Edgar, all the other stats. Highest damage, longest distance travel, highest skills. The guy was actually a beast in this.
That is true. That is so very true. What a play this is. What a wonderful start to day number 4. This is from the side of course, Group C and B. I mean, that is just what was needed. Talk about Hellraisers playing though. I mean, they can, I think, improve a little bit in terms of the kind of aggression and the kind of placements they end up having. But eventually, again, there are so many things can be spoken about so many other teams. With that, let's have a look at how has this match fared in terms of the ranking of all of these teams.
We were just talking about match ranking. Team TUF is out here, 13 kills, 15 placement points, 28 total points. Magnus, 10 and 10, 20 for them. Team Frost, 5 kills, 12 placement points. We can talk about these teams, but let's talk about, Retribution, just as we saw Hellraisers, Team F4. I mean, these teams were not good with the placement points, but the kill points that just came down for them, those were good.
Absolutely. There's no two ways about it. The kills certainly are there. That means the dominating plays are, of course, in their favor. But Magnus and Team TUF taken 23 kills through the lobby all to themselves is just incredible turnover wins for these two teams, and that is of course going to imply that TUF is going to be a good contender.
For sure, they will be. Meanwhile, we talk about 9 to 15 expandables and star offs. They could not get anything in this game. Obviously, they would, look forward to the other games as well. But this game, it was the start of the momentum for today. So if your momentum just, stops right at the first game, you have to think about your strategies again. Like, because first and last, Erangel, both, they are Erangel, if anything.
Well, with that, let's recap with the best Oppo moments throughout this first game. That was, of course, on Erangel, where indeed you talk about the first kills themselves. I mean, that was just perfect third party.
I mean, from one direction to the other direction, someone was knocking down, someone else was taking the kills. I mean, this was something, you know about the F4 moment, when World Trucks took down one and then the situation happened. Well, Bacha, he was trying to take the fights in his favor, and that actually happened. But this fight against F4 and Retribution, well, this was like the time was going slower for a few players because, every shot that was landing, even in the random direction, it was taking down players, it was taking the chip damage, and it was doing damage.
Absolutely, and that fight, even though the push came in from the Retribution.
From Rafa, look at this now. Rafa, he was just out of the vehicle. This was something. Really.
He just got lucky with that. But indeed, I mean, you talk about that push. It was supposed to be, F4, but the way F4 popped out of that, they were just 2-man left.
Yeah, totally. And now we'll be moving on slowly and steadily to the final fights. I don't know why this happened. Well, but Skeps is the one who, took his team to top 3. So nothing taken away from that individual lad as well. He did take down one final kill point as well. That's a really good thing. He was the last surviving, and the other teammates did go down. So they were making the same mistakes indeed, the one that he made. But then this moment, look at this. Edgar spots one, takes one down. So they obviously know it's 5 alive, and they know they are 2 players. So they have to understand it's just like now one surviving. Let's just rush in. Let's just take the kills. And it was an off angle. They got the best.
Perfect play. Perfect play from Team TUF. I mean, just domination with the precision, with the controlled aggression, and of course the conversation within the team. Just mind-blowing. But again, I mean, Frost could have been and should have been able to capitalize on that situation with, of course, having 3-man surviving. Yeah. They should have been able to, I think.
mean, they should have been able to, but, in any way, it's still, if not a chicken, you obviously are getting second placement. Yeah, it's a good thing for a start. For the start of the momentum, you can say it's a good thing.
Absolutely is. I mean, of course, you certainly do get the points. You did have so many kills, and that, of course, will help you when it comes to the overall ranking. But with that, match number 1 certainly comes to an end. We're going to go on a very, very short break. Coming right up is going to be match number 2. Hello and welcome back once again to PUBG Mobile Club Open. This is the Pakistan region, day number 4 that we're in. Of course, it is all thanks to Reno 5 Pro. With that, game number 1 already done on Erangel, going down towards TUF.
Yeah.
And now it is time for second game.
I want to see what happens in Sanhok, right? Because that we always say fast-paced game, the water circles, zones around water. What's going to happen with those things and all? Boot camp, if a team contests boot camp, how can they defend it? Same goes for Ruins as well. Same goes for Paradise Resort, because that's a big area. Paina and all, like these 3-4 areas as well. So we'll have to see where the circle just goes down and how the players play it, because Sanhok obviously starts up a bit faster sometimes as compared to any other map.
Absolutely. Again, I mean, the map being so very small compared to all the others. Of course, the team contestations and the team rotations and their drop locations also are so very close to each other that they already, as they're dropping down through the parachutes, they know the information and they know where exactly to look forward to when it comes to the 360-degree angle and what team, not necessarily what team, but which area to look forward to when it comes to teams and their... Well, again, they need to be able to control as soon as they drop down. And you talk about control, you talk about team grounders. Because, again, this is the team that started the domination from Sanhok and then moved that domination in towards the side of course, Miramar. So, again, today, they had a decent run in the first game. They were almost 4th or 5th, I believe. And now, again, honestly going to be looking forward to what they bring to the table.
I mean, that's totally true. They will have to find out, good areas, decent areas for themselves and, try and take down good fights. Because if we just talk about how the overall rankings will be going on, right? After today's day, every team will have had 8 matches for themselves, be it Group A, be it Group C, maybe, Group B, Group D, any group you just call it. So every team would have had their own matches. So now the thing that just comes down to is, how are these groups, going to pan after these the n number of matches? That is 8 matches are done.
Exactly. And again, I mean, certain way to look at it would be that, all right, 8 matches are done. Now we can actually look at the caliber and start looking at, all right, so this team has this much caliber and has been able to bring that sort of a play towards, because that's what the overall standings is going to be reflecting back onto, right? There's nothing taken against the gameplay. There's nothing taken against that, all right, no, this team is 32nd, so it's bad. That's nothing like that. It's just the play. Because again, you talk about Hellraisers, they're a very good team, but the way that these games are turning out to be are certainly genuinely not in their favor from the looks of it.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That is totally true. But, just as we said there, that Team X is a really good team. Team Y, obviously, they have to try up and start up with everything. So those minute things, those minute details can just change your pace and the pace of the game and everything. So that's one thing. Plus, adding more to the conversation, just like you just talked about these things. Now, if we just look forward to a few teams that are not doing good, they still have 3 matches. They still have to do good in those 3 matches for now. Because I mean, if we're just talking about story, I'll still get and stick to the story of knockout. First match, nothing. Second match, nothing. In those 2 matches, they had incredible gameplay. That was the first day. I want to see something like that happening today as well. Like, if there's so many teams that can, just come out of nowhere and do a 180 game, it's like other teams will have more number of teams to fear to, because they're like, oh, no, these are the dark horses.
Exactly, and the dark horses at times certainly do shine out the brightest, and that is, of course, what the expectation is coming in from the desk. But eventually, it'll all fall back onto the players and their mindset as they step away from the first game. And no matter how good or bad it was, jump that all and move into the second game with that much more of a clearer, brighter mindset, eh?
Yeah, that's true. That's when talking about this one particular match. As we just talk about this match, there are a few different guns as well. Oh yes. In Sanhok, you see QBZ, QBU. You don't see the other a few of the other guns, right? But the like Scarl and all. You see QBZ, QBU, and it kind of becomes a bit different. Maybe someone's comfort zone is M4.
Right.
They get QBZ. Maybe someone's comfort zone was Mini 14. They get QBU. It's all right. One is DMR, other is DMR, one is AR, other is AR. But it just comes down to the thing like, I wanted to use that gun. It just changes the perspective of how I want to just outshine when it comes down to my own usage, my own perspective of the gun, and how can I control the recoil, what kind of attachments I'll be using, how will I, like, those things just add up to your own stress of that particular match in the game.
Perfect word being stopped there. I mean, that is stress that we're talking about, and stress certainly can arise not only based on the position that you're in, but also just based on the utilities and the guns that you've got in control of you, right?
Yeah.
If you're comfortable with the gun that you've got, you will very well be, no matter if you're outside the circle, also be able to confidently move on along with the push and be very, very certain that, no, I'm going to be able to just nail this down to the point. But if you don't have a comfortable gun in your hand, if you don't have the amount of utilities that you would want to have, then eventually the conversation in your mind itself automatically starts going a bit haywire that, I don't feel so good, mate.
Yeah, I mean that's onto your own personal thinking capability.
Right.
What is happening? Am I choosing my weapon of choices in the right way? I don't want AKM. I want an M4. Where's an M4? My teammate has an M4. Oh, he wanted an AKM, but he went down. Why? Because he did not want. So things kind of just get down onto a lot of things. With that, there's also one thing that I would just point down to, and that is a usage of things like stun grenades. Players don't use much of those utilities as per se. Frags are good, smoke grenades are good. Mollies, they are the third thing to be used, but stun grenades, it's less.
I mean, since day one that I've gotten into the PUBG Mobile arena, so to say, has been my complaint from players. So many of them don't end up using flashes. Why? I mean, Molly, all right. Molly is certainly important because if you want to be able to control, let's say you've got this player that would be probably in this edge or corner of the house. You bring it in and you've got the control already of that certain corner of the house. But eventually, I mean, there are so many beautiful moments that flash ought to be utilized. But nevertheless, all those conversations will carry on. Let's move into the game. And this is, of course, going to be Sanhok. So let's find out who is going to be the champion in this one.
So we start from the backside of Hearth into the docks area as well. Cave, Camp Charlie, Query, Painan, Bootcamp Paradise. Just as we are doing, just as we were talking about the main areas, that's where the flight path will be taking down the players to as well. So let's see which was the first team to get being taken down out in this one. Talking about the parachute openings, you can see MGS is dropping down really, really fast. The early drop just coming down from that one team as well. Star Ops as well, just going down to a really good area for themselves. And if we are just looking down onto the other areas and other teams, we can see a few more names just going on. But Retribution, they are still in the plane only.
Absolutely, and this is looking pretty neat because again, the perfect flight path that one or any team would have actually expected, because again, it is just cutting the map through the center line, and eventually all the teams have all the possible positions that they could very well go ahead and make themselves comfortable with. But again, the conversation will then move on towards where is that first circle going to be coming towards. Again, you look on towards north, towards Cow region, you're looking at Star, all separated by themselves. So many of these teams are all by themselves. Oh wow.
So last game, F4 had one challenge, that is to get inside the circle.
Yes.
This game, they are like, we are the circle.
We are the circle indeed. They're in the center of the circle. No other team around them to, of course, contest, and they've got the control of that Paradise Resort, is I believe the region that they're on top of. But along with that, of course, you move towards the south of this entire map. You're looking at Arcadians as well as Retribution, who are down towards Camp Charlie, and not that far behind from them is going to be Shami, and that's Retribution that is going to take control of that. With that is, I'm hoping and guessing that that's probably where we're going to be looking at the first contestations and fights coming in from.
I did hear one QBU shot. Probably that was a misfire or something. Something I did hear though from some players somewhere around. So that's one thing that I would love to see where and what is happening. But if we just talk about big areas, no early fights will be happening. Painan, one team. Paradise, one team. Bootcamp, one team. Camp Alpha, one team. So one team in one big area. It just showcases one thing that they have made their that as their home in front of the entire lobby, and the lobby fears them on those areas.
That is so true. And again, you move the conversation towards Hellraisers right now. Hellraisers had a bit of a segregated drop towards this. They were all scattered across that same exact street and that road. But move it towards Team 47. They have already got themselves a decent loot and are going to be moving on towards a better loot for now. But they are certainly going towards the side of Frost from the looks of it. Again, they do have the upper hill advantage, but which side is Team 47 going to be choosing to push towards? Because on the left, we just noticed that there is Team Frost that could very well be able to contest their push or their position.
Probably that might as well just happen. So we still have to see, how that thing just goes on. But right now, as we can see, the players and the teams just moving up forward. 58 players live in the lobby and 15 teams surviving. All the teams that are out here, that's the number 15, and the teams are still surviving. But the thing is, can they or can they not spot anyone right next to them? Now, talking about Sanhok's rule of zone, the first circle starts up really fast, and that's where the first circle has already started in the 3-minute marker. And now the zone is going to shrink in slowly and steadily, and the players will have to look forward to one thing, and that is where can they take their fights. So it used to be one thing. Previously, Vikendi used to be in the competitive scenario, right? So Erangel and Miramar used to have a 90-second rule for the first circle to be formed up, while Sanhok and Vikendi used to have 60-second rule for the circle to be formed up, and the 60 seconds have gone down, and the zone has started.
Absolutely, and with that, you talk about Team 47 and their rush. They have certainly moved away from the bootcamp region, where, of course, we saw the side of Frost taking control and taking advantage of all the perfect utilities and guns that are available at bootcamp. But talk about Hellraisers. I mean, they bring in an early rotation. They did have a little bit of guns and set up themselves, but now they are going to be pushing and getting themselves acclimated to this new compound where Ninja is already waiting for them in the backlines, and now maybe what they're waiting and planning on doing is to be able to gun down what other team is going to be pushing on along through either the bridge or going to be trying to swim across. And that, of course, is going to be perfect setup for the team of Hellraisers for now. And with that, move it towards Team 47. They are still pushing towards their rotation. They are just running. There's no gunning thus far because there is no information being shared as to what teams are in their path as they make the rotation.
Well, that is true. That is true. But now, yeah, they have to look down to all the parts, that they have to just empty down if they find someone. So every team will have to, move with each other, with their own teammates. If you go solo, that will be the only YOLO move you might just make in that one, because right in front of you, there might be a few teams, a few enemies or something, and 1v2s, 1v3s sometimes becomes a crucial effort. If you just take the players down, I mean, we have seen a few players doing 1v4s as well. It all depends on your strategies, on your implementations, and your critical thinking at that particular time, because sometimes you have to continue your spray, sometimes you just have to take down the fight, so it just goes down on those ones. Well, Frostclaws, I mean, I think the team has some plan in their mind to just rotate onto one area to the other, because obviously they have to go to the Paradise Resort. They are looking onto the backside of Mountain. That's where the road to Paradise just comes down to. And look at the players. Impulse, they are already trying to make their way inside the circle. HR, they have already, crossed down the river. So teams are trying to make the house around the Paradise's area.
Absolutely, and with that, you talk about, Retribution down towards the southern side. They are going to have to start bringing that rotation in as this circle will be brought to an end. With that, we've got our first airdrop, an M24 coming in, along with, of course, the, already custom and default setup, which is of course going to be level 3 set and kit. But this is looking perfect for Hellraisers because it is right behind the compound of Hellraisers. And what do we have here? Team Grounders already taken an early aggression, and Team Grounders this time around are only playing a 3-man squad. There is a man missing from this lineup today, but that is certainly not the reason why this team is not going to be able to push along or bring in the domination, because this is the team that seems to be taking on fights towards the side of Team 47 for now.
Well, TG, Shapatar low on HP right now, but high on morale. You can see 47's players, they did spot down exactly those their opponents, and they did do the damage. But the damage has been done on two things, and one is their utilities, and the other one is their rotations have been compromised. So they might have to go for a plan B, and they have to do that quick. Shapatar already just moving on to the backsides as well. Nexi, Ferro, they are also onto the backsides from Team 47, and they are trying to be the backbone for the teammates if they do need some help, or if they want them to just, aggress down in the fight, they can do that. You can see Nexi using a mutant. Alright, well, this is something different that he's using. We have seen this gun being used in less number of ways, and it's not that versatile of a weapon, but when it does the damage, it does the job as well. So let's see what they can do in this situation.
Well, Team 47 not looking too comfortable actually, because they've taken fights towards the side of course, as we just noticed, but along with that, they've also got Immobilist right down towards the compound that they're looking on towards, and that could be a bit of a sticky situation that might force Team 47 to just run away rather than gunning those players down. But with that, Team F4, Star and TUF looking very comfortable in the center of the circle once again. Talking about teams that are far away, you're looking at TE, the Expendables, that are up towards Ruins and will be making that rotation. Talk about, of course, they still have not made their rotation. Interesting. Look on towards the southern side of the map. We are looking at Retribution right here. That is finally making that rotation, and they are running. They don't even have a vehicle right now. That could be detrimental for their approach in towards the circle, because by the time they make it towards the circle, well, the circle would have already shifted.
That's as we're seeing. Arcadian's approach is also a different one. They have a team right behind them. As for when they are moving, just as you said, Retribution, yeah, they have a team behind them. So the thing is, they might as well just stop there and take up a fight. They have 1 minute plus time for them. The second zone just closing in slowly and steadily, and 2x efficiency steals. He is out here. As well. So I want to see what these players, just take up, do when they take up the fight for themselves, because they are trying to spot someone down. But the thing is, right now they need a good area inside the circle. They are inside the circle, but they need a good house, something that, that can give them an adequate cover. See, if you're in the open, you need cover. But if you're in a house, you can just have a proper cover, just can peek around the areas, just can stay in the house for as long as you want, if that's inside the circle, and you can play the game in your comfort zone.
Absolutely, and with that, we talk about Team Grounders. They were taking that early fight against the side, of course, of Team 47, but they have now decided to move away from that position as they're only a 3-man squad and will be fighting and contesting for perhaps a better position in this circle. But Team 47 right now, they are in the open. They have a small little shack to get some cover from, but Immobilist right there, right in their crosshairs basically, and Team 47 seem to be deciding to run away from this for now. But again, we do see Immobilist taking a few knocks, not necessarily knocks, but damage certainly being brought in towards the side of Immobilist players, but they are a 4-man army, so Team 47 will have to be very careful as they try and get themselves together. But here we move towards the conversation of Team Frost against ESN. This is going to be quite a perfect grenade because it will certainly bring in a knock towards the side of Klaus from Frost, and Khan goes down from Esports Nation. Of course, Hassan coming in from Esports Nation to bring in that revive, but Frost, if he can, he should probably bring in another utility and get that knock off Hassan as well. And along with that, of course, he has the support of his team right behind.
Whoa, well, Klaus, he was looking really good, but he goes down right now. So that's one thing. But Hassan, he takes down another one. That's brilliant. ESN is looking really strong. And the best part about Hassan was he switched to FPP, took the fight, switched to TPP once again so that he can see a rush that's coming in. That is brilliant, brilliant. You need to, have a longer areas approach if you want to go for this one. That's why you switch to FPP. And that's what he did. So now he is just going to go for the finish as well. And now Frost. You realize how fast this team is reduced to a two-man squad?
Exactly.
That's just really, really quick.
That is just GG's indeed. The kind of play that was being brought on from Frost. Of course, he was all by himself. He was the initial one who did bring in that perfect grenade, but eventually Hassan was the man who was able to just capitalize on that. He had the information. He was able to just convert that perfect grenade information into a kill, and not only just one kill, but 2 kills. And with that, Team Frost being brought down to 2 members now.
Well, they were looking, 4-man strong, but now they are 2-man strong. That's just one thing that we'll have to see, and they'll have to, just check out every corner for themselves. Look at 47. They are just moving up forward. They don't have any kill, but they can spot the teams out there. And just as we were predicting, the circle is going right in its own directions. Arcadians, I love the rotations. They were so outside the circle.
Yes.
They just came in. They have a hold of Cam Bravo, but they don't have any fight yet.
Nothing yet. So that means, again, for now, the only thing that they're working towards is going to be the placement points. But again, that is only few circles shy away from getting some kills for themselves. But talk about Team F4. They have been around that Paradise Resort forever and ever. And they certainly do need to be bringing in a few more points for themselves. But talking about the circle. The circle is moving towards Paradise.
Yeah, so Paradise and Tatmok, the central area of these two areas, that's going to be something, that's going to be really crucial. So I would say if a team like Arcadians wants to get inside the circle, go from Mongnai, get to Tatmok, you will be safe again, and you'll have much more, time to go for the critical thinking for the next fights if you get a hold of that.
Exactly, but then again, in that conversation, the only thing is the rotation ought to work in your favor. And with that, we've got the airdrop number 2 that is already set up right next to the edge of the circle, and MK14 waiting for any lucky player to be able to get their hands on it. But again, will any player do so for now? Does not look like the case, but move towards TE. They are moving towards their rotation and bringing in to the circle. But onto the side of Magnus, they are bringing in Arcadians players. Arcadians were bringing in a lot of circles, but nope, that is not going to work in Arcadians' favor.
Well, we know what MGS can do. We saw that in the last match, right? They had a lot of kills, and now they're looking good. Again, Oreo needs a revive, though, but a one good grenade can actually take down at least one player. There is the grenade. No, it's not out there. Gambler. He had a gamble to play. Takes down Weekend, and now the spray is just going left, right, and center. It should actually be on the pinpoint area that is onto Skeps. I want to see can Skeps actually clutch the situation. We saw last game he was outside the circle. He just came in and did everything well. Deal takes down one. This is brilliant. MGS might as well survive this fight, and Arcadians, they will have to pay. Look at Gambler, he's still surviving somehow, but will he go for a revive or will he just go away? I think like he's going away, going to save those placement points for the, going to go for the placement points. That's what one thing he's doing, but, well, he never thought of a fight like this. No one could have, just thought of a fight like this. Meanwhile, F4 is taking a fight against the players of 47.
Well, finally, certainly seems like there's a little bit of fight coming in down towards the side of Paradise Resort. That's exactly we saw where F4 had set themselves up. But Magnus is not ready to let this gamble go in Gambler's favor. And talking about F4, they have just obliterated the side of course, Team 47 as they brought themselves towards the side of Paradise Resort. But now, Team F4 needs to get themselves acclimated and get their health and boosters all set up. And with that, Immobilist utilizing that perfect opportunity and bringing in a knock from the side of F4. There is some retaliation as Ninja is down.
Well, Voltrix did take down one player, so the trade does just arrive. I want to see, can they use another grenade? Talking about that one, Khan, accidentally was in the area of the grenade. He was just going back.
Right.
But that was a really, really brilliant grenade. We'll see how the fight, just continue in this one. Scout is just out here and he wants to take up a good fight for against the opponents, actually F4. But the only thing that's, just shying away is the fact that Khan still needs up a revive. Who's going to revive him? The clock is ticking. The clock is ticking on this player. Will he turn into a crate or will he still survive? Well, Ninja goes down. Cost Royal Charlie. Team Royal is coming from the back lines. Now, Imbliss is in a sandwich situation, knowingly or unknowingly. Now, Imbliss, all their attention is towards Royal, and that gives the perfect time for F4 for a revive.
And that was what F4 should have done, but apparently they're not deciding to do so, and they have moved away from that situation. But along with that, of course, you talk about Immobilist. They were looking pretty confident with this push, but Royals have brought in a Royal legendary approach, and with that, have knocked down one player, but have taken a knock for themselves as well, as Immobilist goes down with only Scouts remaining with 30 HP.
Afnan, he's still surviving somehow. First aids being popped up by the players. Well, Imbliss, you can just see the fact, and that is that, 3 players were on low HP. Well, Satan takes down 1 right now. Scout and Afnan moving up forward. Ninja, the clock is ticking. Satan, he needs to put up a first aid right now, otherwise he goes down. And yes, he does go down in the situation. Afnan is just out there. Scout low on HP. Paraboy onto the back end sides. Can he clutch this one? I mean, he is just throwing good smokes for his teammates to just go back if they want to. And Imbliss, they are reduced to 2-man. Hellraiser's arriving. Look at the circle just onto the backsides of Paradise Resort. That's where the zone is going. And now it gives the perfect time for all the teams to create chaos out here because they are inside the circle. If they have to do something, they have to do it right now.
They certainly do need to utilize this timing perfectly and into their side. With that, of course, we see towards the upper north side of Paradise Resort, we are looking at ESN, that is Esports Nation, also slowly working their way towards the side of Paradise Resort, where indeed now we've got Hellraisers stepping into the arena. We've, of course, got F4 contesting this for the longest time as they believe it is their house for the taken. But along with that, ESN is there. Immobilist is also being brought down to 2-man squad for now, but they are still in the region. And talking about the other side altogether, you are looking at Retribution and Star, alongside which there is another team that could also turn into quite a fight. This is perfect domination from so many teams for now.
No doubt, this is a really, really good domination from all these teams. If anything, we still have 14 teams alive. I mean, this is the 4th circle. 16 plus minutes have passed onto this area. Hellraisers, they did come from the back inside, and now they are going to go to the back shack, the back building of this Paradise Resort area. They might as well just contest or go for a backstab, but no, Wolverine, a good 1-pointer as it takes down Snake in this situation. Destroys onto the other side. He's trying to spot someone. He is trying to go for it, but Snake low on HP. I mean, will the revive arrive? That's one of the most important questions out here. But Ninja is in the open. Ninja is just going and running away. He has been spotted, but well, the damage was done. But can they save Snake? Oh yes, they do save him in the last nick of a second.
They certainly have been, well, they have able to save him, but again, F4 could bring in a bit more utilization of them utilities and try and force Hellraisers into a crux and into a corner in the small little compound. But eventually, again, they both have, F4 as well as Hellraisers have both 4-man army remaining. But the interesting turn of events is that Hellraisers is sticking as a team, whereas F4, as we saw in the previous game as well, have turned themselves towards 2-man squads.
That's true. But F4, just like you said, they are sticking as a team. But the thing is, it's 2 men here, 2 men there. Like they're different directions. That's one thing. But well, 2 ex-officials, Sergeant takes down Retribution's Bacha and will be finishing down as well, securing the kill that they actually wanted. Now the zone's clicking in, and this is going to be the most crucial circle. If it leaves Paradise, players will have to just run in the open to get to the next circle. If it stays in Paradise, players in the open will have to come into the Paradise Resort to just stay there. And it leaves Paradise, which means now it's a headache for all the teams to move up and move right now.
And that is exactly what we see Hellraisers doing right here. And with that, of course, F4 will try and do so as well, but there is still Immobilist who have 2-man remaining, and they have information down towards another team. And again, from this push, from this rush, as we see the rotation coming in from Hellraiser as well as F4, this is going to turn very crucial for Hellraiser as to how exactly do they capitalize on this, because they are out in the open, whereas F4 certainly still has the advantage of that house and the compound working in their favor. But no, not yet, because again, utilities are being thrown left, right, and the utility thrown from Hellraiser is on point, and F4 might be in trouble.
Voltrix goes down by the grenade. Look at Khan, he's really close to Adnan. He goes down as well. Adnan goes down. Destroys onto an off angle. Can not make a fight of his own? Well, Wolverine low on HP. So goes Snaker. Snaker, look at his HP as well. I mean, Wolverine, he is just in a bad situation. Wolverine takes down the players. What? F4! How did they clutch this fight?
Well, that was just perfect play because again, first knock came in for Voltrix itself, but again, you move on towards the side of Destroyer. He was at the back end of this entire compound. He was not even in the compound itself, so of course, he had the upper advantage. He had the information being relayed from the team members itself, and as that push came on along, there were 2 players inside the Paradise Resort. But with that, of course, the circle is pushing on along, and they have to not only get the revive, they have to get themselves all medkit and done and push and run.
Well, they certainly have to do. They have 9 kills. They came so far not to lose. That's one thing for sure. 9 kills by this one team. They are looking really good, really strong. And if I have to talk about F4, I think like Sanhok is actually the real deal that they can do. Khan being an impressive IGL obviously does know what to do with the team when the team actually needs them. Alright, a good grenade being lofted on by Psycho. Will take one player down with the grenade. It does not do any damage as of now, but still, we'll have to see. Alright, Oreo's grenade just take down 1. So MGS. Now it's their time to shine in this area. Look at them just moving up forward against Expandables. Can they or can not take up this fight? Because the thing is, Clown is in a really good angle. Psycho and the rest of the 2 players, Sug and Pan, they are at just one house. So Clown can create a really good off angle, but he has been spotted. The molly was done onto his area and he is burning.
Absolutely, and with that, Magnus, they were the ones who were initially set up in this compound, but the way TE has approached this, they are the Expendables, and they have just pushed on along the side of Magnus, and Magnus is not looking too good because they are just 2-man army, whereas the push coming in from the side of TE is a 4-man army, but that will not stop the side of, wow, this is just perfect. Expendables bringing in 2 more knocks, but taking a knock for themselves as well, and now with that, it is Magnus 1 player and TE 2 players.
Well, TE, they are just moving up forwards, but it is Skeps, and we know what that player can do. But they are looking for a revive right now. I mean, they should have to understand that the circle is going to be, you can see Clown's HP just going down against the circle, so they need to understand they are not even secure in that kill. Obviously, they will get that kill. The thing is, they have to be safe, but all right. Team F4, meanwhile, gets eliminated somehow with 11 kills to their name. Play zone, taking down all the other players as well. ESN Hassan is looking really good. We are down to 4 teams all of a sudden.
Absolutely, and what a play this is. This is just working like in favor of Star from the looks of it, from the kill feed. Wow. They have just 5, they've converted the 5 kills for themselves. Expendables getting eliminated because of course, that push that came in that was really ill-timed, and the rush that pushed along the side of Magnus. Well, the circle was anyways gunning for them.
I want to see what TUF does. Think about it. 3 players in the lobby.
Oh, yes.
1 did go down. It's 2 versus all the other players right now. ES plays 1 kill, but Edgar, this time Edgar is looking really good.
Oh, yes. And on the other side, of course, we've got Magnus Keps right here, who is trying to get into the final circle itself. And seems like there is no other team that will be able to contest him. And he will be able to get himself in the circle itself. But talking about the healing, he's only got 8 bandages left now.
He will have to use those bandages, but it's like 18 seconds on the clock. How far can he go if those bandages just, rush out of everything? I mean, he will have to use them, but after that, once he goes to the fight or something, he cannot use anything else. No utilities, nothing left for him to just use. It's just his helmet and his vest. That will only help him. That's one thing. Well, ESP trying to spot down the players of Star, and you can see Star's Jin just out here trying to spot down the players as well. He is using a Victor, which is actually an impressive choice right now, given the fact that these are the final circle fights. Has an M4 as well, switches to M4, that's a really good thing. And now the zone's coming. The blue screen of death slowly and steadily just moving up onto the players. We'll have to see what happens. Alright, ESP spotted, put down so low. Popping up a first aid. Hassan has an M249. Is there any stopping to this player? But I want to see what happens. Team Star, the players are spotted. The players might as well just go down. Anonymous, the last one surviving. He goes down as well. Onto this line. It's TUF versus ESN. But hey, Skeps once again changes the course of the game. And he goes down after this. This is the second time Magnus Esports gets eliminated on the 3rd position. It's a 1v4 meanwhile. Hassan has 7 kills. Can he go for the 8th one?
Well, for now, TUF, this is just their game, or could have been their game. For now, of course, he's just making it back in, and with that, Hassan and the entire squad of ESN Esports Nation will be dominating and will bring that final kill in their favor with a chicken dinner. This is the 2nd chicken dinner for the side of ESN, actually.
I mean, ESN, they were impressive, especially Hassan. Talk about it. Esports Nation, yes, brilliant. 6th overall rank is what they have right now. 13 kills. And out of that, 8 were with just one individual. That 7 were his. I think he also took the last one. He had an M249. I mean, he does not have to fear anyone.
Dude, I mean, talking about this team, it is just commendable approach that they bring to the map of Sanhok every single time. So the first day we noticed it was just their game, the first time this team played, and now again it has been their game on the map of Sanhok, and GG's indeed to the entire squad. But again, talking about squads, it was a dominating play from TUF. They were only 3-man army.
It indeed was, talking about TUF. But hey, this time last time as well, TUF's gameplay was, taken down by Skeps.
Yep.
This time as well, history repeated itself in the same manner.
Ouch. With that, let's move on to the MVP and find out who was the most valuable player from today's game, and it is none other than Hassan with 8 kills, 682 damage, and has done only 98 healing.
That's brilliant. We are talking about double digits right now in the healing department. 98 healing is like what, probably a med kit or something like that, just using that, and that's amazing. No assist though. Obviously, if you have an M249, you would want the kills to be in your favor, and that's one thing that he did perfectly.
Well, with that, Hassan certainly taking the MVP, but who amongst the entire squad of this team is going to be part of the top players? So let's have a look at the top players from the game, and it is, of course, Hassan with 8 kills. But alongside that, you talk about the other lads. This is, of course, Star Fury taking 5 kills with 523 damage.
Destroyer as well with 5 kills. TUF ESP with 2 kills, 773 damage. That's a good number. Like, given the fact just had 2 kills with 700 plus damage, I would take that. I would take that because he has the highest one in the group.
Absolutely. And again, this, keep in mind, was a team that stepped in with only 3 members. And indeed, the way TUF played, it was just phenomenal to be able to see that. But eventually, of course, that is the setup from this second game of day number 4. What a wonderful play this has been from so many of these games, or rather from so many of these teams. So let's find out, when it comes to the match ranking, where are the other teams faring and what sort of kills did they end up getting for themselves.
Exactly, we're just talking about match ranking. Esports Nation obviously at the top, and look at Team F4 with 11. Like, that's the second highest skill. If we just talk about TUF and Star Ops, they had 8 each. Talking about Magnus, they had 5. Talking about 2x official NSE, they had 3. Expandables had 2. Royals had 1. Like, this is the decreasing order of the kills. If I just want to talk about this one, so the players were, like, the teams were looking really good, but Frost, Arcadians, Hellraisers, the Grounders, and 47, nothing whatsoever at all. Not even a single kill. And talking about Team Grounders and Team 47X, not even placement points. So that did not fare out well for them. Sanhok did not vote in their favor, but eventually again the conversation will be, that's okay, move on towards the next map upcoming, which is going to be Miramar, and that's where, of course, teams can very well showcase that domination, where indeed we have seen the likes of the Grounder showcase that exact same prowess. I mean, that's the thing. We always will be speculating one map or the other, so that's one thing. But Sanhok was brilliant.
It was. With that, let's recap and go through the Oppo moments and find out the best plays with this wonderful, wonderful Oppo highlight.
Yeah, exactly. These are going to be the Oppo moments, if anything. And just as we talk about the Oppo moments, we can see and witness a few good fights that were happening out in this one. You can see ESN, they started off good, they ended down good. And just we were discussing about these fights, right? We were talking about MGS and Arcadians. You know, the players had to stay with each other. If you are away from each other, you might as well just go down. This fight was really good against F4, but F4 somehow they didn't manage to take up a really good fight, in a really risky situation. But hey, Royals backs up. That was impressive. HR, they did try to, just shy away from this fight, but when they started, that was a brilliant knock that HR's Adnan did. The grenades were on point from this team.
Absolutely, and with that, of course, we see F4's Destroyer up on the back, and he was the one-man army who was able to clutch this fight against HR in his team's favor, and Destroyer came on at the perfect crucial time. But you move on towards TE's Clown. Right here, he did get a knock, and he was, of course, sent back into the lobby. With that, Team F4 right around this corner was also sent back.
Well, yes, but then this was the final moment. Look at the Skeps. It was just on the backside, and Go was like, there are the players, but well, he goes down, and look at this, Hassan. He was using his gun perfectly, in a really perfect fashion. He knows M249, you gotta go all in once you wanna get those fights. If you wanna use it slowly, use it slowly. Like, that was brilliant.
That was just brilliant play coming in from all across the board, from all of these teams. That is, of course, from Group C and B. But indeed, what a play this has been. 2 matches done, 2 more remain. And again, there is no certainty to what team is going to be dominating. But with that, of course, let's have a look at the overall standings and find out, with that game, with the second game done on day number 4, what will this bring? Magnus is on second with 102 points.
Well, yes, here we can see PMCO Esports on the first. Well, I believe I see this. Magnus might as well topple PMCO Esports on the top position. All they need to do is just get 8 points.
Yep, that is true. And with that, of course, we move on towards the side of StarX OP and Team F4. They are also looking pretty neat because they have moved up the pace. So that is perfect for the side of StarX as well as Team F4. But moving the conversation towards the next lot.
Yeah, Team Retribution, they are still playing right now. Team GHAZI, they have played obviously, so 45 points for Retribution. They will try and, just get that number even higher. That's one thing. Team Frost, 2x Official, Royals and Arcadians, it's their day-to-day to just rise and shine, and they are rising slowly and steadily. Let's just see if they shine by the end of the day.
Absolutely, that will be the hope from those lads. And of course, you move on towards the Immobilist and the likes of course, Hellraiser and the Expendables. We saw them bringing in some early aggressions, but have not been able to capitalize on them thus far. But eventually, the conversation is still not done because they could very well just turn this around into the next 2 games.
When that's one of the most important things to just see and learn from all these players. But next Miramar, it might just be full of surprises. You never know.
Right, it's just one of those maps which is of course going to start off slow and low key, but eventually as you move on along, it will be just domination from all across the board, and that is what I'm waiting for. But with that, of course, do not forget to hashtag that the team that you guys are rooting and supporting for in the chat. With that, we're going to go on a very, very short break, after which, of course, as Ocean just said, we will be back with the map of Miramar. Hello and welcome back once again to PUBG Mobile Club Open. There's the Pakistan region, day number 4. All thanks to, of course, Reno 5 Pro. And dude, this has been a phenomenal day. I mean, this is the first Group C and B, but the way these groups are playing, it has been just wonderful.
You can say first day the party was just getting started. Now the party is continuing, and that is in a really good fashion. I mean, I still remember there were a few meme people were tagging me from Pakistan region on Instagram when I said yesterday, these are the players, these are the vehicles, and that's not a party that's happening. And they just tagged me. Thank you for that. But that's one thing. But well, if we just talk about today's game, like if we talk about Miramar, it changes a lot of things. Even the fact it won't be as fast as it should be right off the bat. But if we talk about the final fights, I'm gonna see some DMR actions and all those just getting into the fights.
Absolutely. Again, I mean, right off the bat, we know for a fact that when it comes to a Miramar game, it is going to be an extended approach from so many of these teams. When it comes to the gun selection itself, I mean, we've seen a lot of them teams end up choosing minis as well as, of course, snipers going through the lobby. But eventually, you bring that conversation down towards the circle and the rotations and, of course, the positioning of them. It's most of the times either the hills or the crevices that so many of these teams get stuck in.
I mean, that's the thing, right? You have to look onto those areas, you have to see onto those areas, you have to find what is right, what is wrong. So there's this thing about the fights, I would say. When it's fights like these of Miramars, you got to understand the goods, the bads, the uglies, and the crazies all together in one fashion.
True, that is just the conversation that is required, because again, when you talk about the way that these teams have been playing, and with that, talking about teams, we've got Magnus Esports on our screens, and they have been phenomenally on point.
Talk about Oreo, 11 kills, 3,300 plus damage. Adil, 21 kills, 3,000 plus damage. That means Oreo, just think about the firepower that Oreo actually constitutes with himself. And talk about one thing, Adil, 6 kills, 21, 3.5 KPM. That's brilliant.
Oh yes, that is. Again, the entire team, the entire squad of this team of Magnus is just phenomenal. You talk about Weekend, you talk about Skeps, the kind of plays that he showcased us today, not only in one game, but 2 games back to back, has been just phenomenal. I mean, you can rely on this lad when it comes to those final games, even in those final moments, if you're all by yourself.
Exactly. And so there's this one thing as well about Miramar. And the most important thing is, yesterday we saw a few Winchesters by the players of GHAZI, I guess. Yeah, GHAZI Khan was using Win94. And we were talking about how versatile that weapon can be if used perfectly.
True.
But then I want to see more Winchester action. So there's 2 things I always talk to Johnny about that as well. I want to see 2 things happening. One is Win94s, and the second one is a pan throw. And Johnny did tell me yesterday there was a pan throw by one player. We saw a pan in the kill feed, but that was not a proper throw. It was just a random throw, and it just hit someone, but it did not take that player down. That's one thing.
Oh wow! All right, well that is something that has certainly been missed. But again, I mean, you talk about the Winchester being utilized. We were kind of having this conversation earlier as well when it came to the Miramar map, that the .45s, they end up having so much a drop that again, so many of these teams members, they don't end up wanting to utilize that gun.
There's a thing about .45, and that is, it's all about the damage stat for these ones. When we talk about 5.56, 7.62, mostly what comes to your brain is ARs. 5.56, M416, and all those things. 7.62, AKM. So that's why it just changes.
Well, with that, let's get busy with the game itself, because the game is live and the flight path once again dividing the entirety of the map.
Well, this is nice. The flight path again, dividing in 2 halves, the map in 2 halves, and that's where we'll see skirmishes probably happening. But you can see a few teams just dropping down early. You can see Royals players, they are just dropping down right now to the backsides of Montenuevo, El Pozo. Those are the areas that the players will be choosing up right now. We can see a team going down to Trailer Park Ruins area. I mean, it is a good area, but the thing is, it just detaches you from the whole map if you want to start up the game. Well, Retribution still in the plane. They will be dropping down just a bit late, and sounds like ESN is with 3 man.
Oh yes, indeed. It certainly does look like ESN, that is the team that just won the previous game, is going to be playing this game with just 3-man army and 3-man squad. But again, talking about the team that moved on down towards the trailer park, that was Team 47, and moved the conversation towards, of course, Magnus. The Oreo lads, they are just going south of Montenuevo for now. And again, the contestation for now seems like could probably be in the center, towards the south, or the up north towards Los Leones or Power Grid.
So, I don't get it. Previously, TUF got the chicken in the first game. The next game, they were 3-man. Now, ESN got a chicken. This game, they are 3-man. Like, how does it just change? Once a team gets a chicken dinner, they start off with a 3-man. Well, I'm talking about the circle. If anything, circle constitutes of 3 major areas. You'll see San Martin, you'll see Montenuevo, you'll see Picaro. So, in the center of these 3 areas, there are going to be so many mountain ranges. That is the most important area just for the rotations. Talking about Arcadians, the 3-1 split surely might just help them. It just depends on Gambler. Like, does he he come to his teammates, or if he stays here, because, you know, MGS, Imbliss, like teams might as well just spot him down.
Absolutely. It's a gamble certainly coming in from the side of Arcadians, but indeed that could very well favor them. But eventually you talk about the first early skirmishes. We are already seeing that on the eastern side of the map, where indeed you're looking at TE, that is the clan of Expendables, going up against Retribution, Badshah, and this could be an early skirmish that we could very well step into. But south of that is, of course, Star, taken once again a very different approach to the entirety of the game, and they are the furthest from the circle as of now.
We'll have to see how, you know, the things just go down. But, well, slowly and steadily, somehow the players still trying to move forward onto everything and onto every area. Well, this is one thing that we'll still have to see how the things just, you know, run down onto the players. So, if we just look about all the players and all the situations, you can see the players just moving down just with the early stuff and everything. But right now, somehow, the players will try to take up all the fights and, you know, Retribution. They are just out here. All they have to do is just move and get up a good fight for themselves.
Absolutely, and that is, of course, going to be the conversation as to where exactly are the Expendables going to be doing. Clown certainly taking a back-end approach and moving away from the situation, but Retribution could very well knock him down and bring him down as he tried to make that wonderful, well, crossing the road. Not really going to pan out for you, Cloud.
Roshan does use up a good Scarl for themselves, and he just, you know, does go for a really, really good start. That's where the first blood just comes on. The finish will be happening out here. Well, I want to see what the other players of that lad is doing. Obviously, they'll be on to the other side of the road. That's where you can see T's other players. I mean, T, if we talk about Expendables, they don't want the fights in the early stages, but they get the fights. And that somehow just, you know, changes the balance of what the team is thinking.
Exactly. I mean, Expendables always do end up getting extended into situations that they do not want to be a part of. But eventually, I mean, this one certainly did not favor them, because as they were dropping down, I'm sure they would have seen the players of Retribution and ought to have automatically utilized that information as they saw the parachutes coming in south of their position. But eventually, well, Clown did not see that, or perhaps there was not enough communication being transferred, and that resulted in him being knocked down and being the first blood of the lobby.
Psycho does not have a helmet. I always feared this one thing. That's my worst fear in Miramar, not having a helmet and still taking up a fight. Like, you know, things will go down bad if you don't have a helmet. You might just peek for a longer distance, and not having a helmet means M4 will do catastrophic damage. It means sometimes R1895, the pistol also does a big chunk of damage, so you still have to, you know, just look forward to everything.
Absolutely, and with that again, you talk about the helmet being utilized. I mean, TE, we just saw the other player from TE just crossed a level 1 helmet, and of course that conversation should automatically be positioned and should be relayed down to the other player of TE to be able to get that helmet on him first and foremost. As they're already one man down, they do not want to be losing or bringing themselves down to just a two-man army. But again, Retribution, they're also looking very comfortable. They're not right now looking on to those early skirmishes and fights. They are just focusing on trying to get themselves the loot, the best that they possibly can.
Well, Honey is in a bit of a pickle. You can see him just trying to survive out here. Does take up a painkiller. I think he wants to just boost himself first, and then he might as well just take this fight. But we talk about Mora. So 2x officials, Mora on to the other side, so we'll try to spot some players down if they can, and they did do spot the players. Well, the damage was done, but the location has been compromised. Make sure if you do the damage, you do take them down. That's how you know, inject the fear. If you do the damage, but you don't take one player down, then they get to know your location, and then you're kind of stuck into the situation. Now, where will you go back? That's an open area. It's good. You're safe for now, but onto the other side, you might not be as safe, because there's TG's 2 player onto the other side as well, and now they realize this.
Exactly. I mean, he knows exactly the kind of situation that he's put himself into. It's almost like a crack that he has found out that will not be able to favor him, because again, TOX, as soon as Mora tries to get away from this position, he will be in the open. And again, if his teammates try and come down towards this position, that is another way that maybe this fight could be taken. But you talk about TG, the grounders, and their approach, they are again scattered across this entire compound. You see KSF as well as Abdul, who are on the left hand side, on towards the right hand side, of course, as Honey and Crisis. And that could also be an interesting turn of events for Honey, because you know for a fact that when it comes to the clan and the side of, yep, there you go, Honey being brought down, because again, you saw 2X's other players were up on top of the hill, and that is exactly where Honey and Crisis are adjusting themselves, and Sajid utilizing that perfect information, and with that, Honey will be brought down.
Well, the finishes are slowly and steadily just coming up right now. 57 players surviving. Obviously, it's just the start, though. But if we talk about the start, it's again the slow start that we expected. Yeah, fights are happening, but it's not like the full squads are going down or something like that is happening as of now. We are down to 6 minutes and 30 seconds into this game. Slowly and steadily, the circle just forming up right now. Oh, M16 on a red dot, and that too does damage. That's brilliant.
That is impressive. That is actually pretty impressive. But again, it's all about relaying information. And TG, the grounders have information regarding 2x's position because, again, they just lost a man. That was Honey. And that player is very, very crucial because, again, we've seen him outperform so many times for the team of the grounders. But eventually, right now, the things are looking in favor of 2x because they have a better scope. They have better guns all set up for themselves. And the scope, again, when you talk about Miramar, the scope, the eyes, they make the biggest difference in any fight.
Yeah, that is true. But if, just we think about the stuff that is happening, I mean, Sajid, the thing is, he has all the players surviving, but now the opponents are trying to surround him. They're not exactly surrounding, but they are pinpointing him at his direction, and that kind of just keeps him away from his own teammates and a part of this crowd that he does not want to be a part of. Obviously, it's like a proper open area, but his location is compromised.
His location certainly is compromised, and that's what we saw. I mean, the side coming in from Red Dot and brought him a little bit of damage. So, of course, he better move away from that position. Do not try and even peek, even though he has a pretty good advantage point. That is going to be, well, again, the scope. The scope will give him a lot more information from far, far away. But eventually, his entire team is a bit scattered. And so, the grounders. And with that, we have another knock coming in from the side of 2x. And Kratos is down from the side of 2x. And the grounders have kind of equalized this playing level field where it is probably going to be a 3v3 situation, that is until unless 2x's player is not revived.
As of now, yeah, that is totally true. But, well, we still have to see how the things just change down. You can see F4 Khan just out here, and, oh, Kratos. The finish might as well just arrive, and he's still timing up that molly in a perfect way. He's just, trying to get the trajectory good. He did, and the gun does the rest.
Absolutely.
He was not timing up the molly, but he was, just timing up the trajectory so that the molly goes on, yeah.
Exactly, because again, it was trying to control the back end of that burning car so as to be able to leave the knockdown player with no other level to go but outside the car's safe net. But eventually, of course, that was a kill brought down towards the F4. And again, you talk about grounders and this approach with just an M4 and a red dot far away. That is just perfect utilization of information. And the way he's got his sights down towards the player is phenomenal.
Well, Picaro, just like we were talking about it, right? San Martin, Montenegro, Picaro, the open area in the middle of this area. That's where the circle slowly and steadily is right now. And that is such an open area, except for Power Grid though. But that is such an open area that players can have the ridges as their covers. But look at TE. Now they're trying to play just a bit safe. Obviously, Team Star is coming right next to them. They might just catch each other in their rotation. So that might be just a bit tricky.
Absolutely, and with that, of course, right here, we've got the first airdrop of the game that is very close to the edge of the circle, and that's going to have a Groza along with, of course, the already known level 3 kit set up for whoever is the lucky one. But move that conversation towards 2x. They are a one-man down, and they have moved themselves away from that fight that they were trying to push up against, and are now going to be moving towards the graveyard region and try and loot as much as they possibly can. Looking on to the loot itself, they don't have a lot of, well, of course, the level 3 helmet, level 3 vest is certainly going to be working in his favor, but Hellraisers, this is just not good. Arc taking a knock, so are Hellraisers, and this will be an all-out war if Hellraisers decide to push along the side of Arc.
Well, that was a good stop if you just want to talk about this one. But now the fights are going to be happening as Gambler. He still has to see, where can he take the fight. But whoa. All right, Uma goes down, was already low on HP. He goes down on Gambler. He should go for a revive technically, but he cannot because that's an open area for himself. And Hellraiser's the other players are onto this downward side. So Ninja, his location is compromised and spotted. This might be a trouble.
This might certainly be trouble because again, as soon as... Oh, what a perfect grenade coming in from the side of Ninja. And indeed, with that, 2 players have been knocked out, and this is Hellraiser's proper in control of this contestation, and there is nothing that will be able to dominate against the likes of Ninja in this fight. Again, though, he does have 1 player that is knocked, and with that, it is a perfect push.
I mean, they did enjoy these 2 kills. Now it's down to Faison. Faison knows the location, though, where the opponent is, but now he'll be like, should I rush? Should I not rush? Because, they still have to see. I want to see what is happening with the other players of Hellraisers. Like, are they taking up the fights or are they not? And 47 Nexi, they are really close to the players, so that means they might as well just go for a backstab. And Ninja goes down right now. Ball is in the core of Arcadians, as Tala might as well just go for a good finish. That was brilliant.
That was just absolute perfection being played out right here. And again, you talk about Arc and the way they have been able to just push on along. This is just absolute domination coming in from the side of Arc. But eventually, the Hellraisers push did not favor them because they have been knocked out and they are down to just a 3-man team for now.
Well, Hellraisers, Adnan Snake are still out here. Adnan needs to put up the first hit. That's important. 47. Look at Khan Goost on to the other. Like, they are so far away from each other. And the players in the open, it's like this. This team, Hellraisers, just have to look onto the Arcadian side. They should not look onto the other side, because if they look onto that direction where the team of 47 is, they will be getting backstab. And that will be an easy backstab for Arcadians. They might as well just enjoy those 2 kills as well. Like, it depends on how are they going to play this game.
Absolutely. And Arcadians right now, of course, with just a 2-man army, are going to probably want to get away from the situation and position, because again, Hellraisers, they did take up a good fight and Arcadians were able to bring that fight into their control. But right now, as they step into the open and try and get some more information regarding the site, regarding the players of Hellraisers, they are going to put themselves in the crosshairs of Team 47 as well.
I want to see, like, this grenade was good. Had it been just a bit from the upper area, it would have actually taken down these 2 players. So now Hellraisers know that there is a team right next to them. And exactly the circle that we predicted. San Martin, Montenuevo, Picaro. The middle line of this circle, exactly just like we said, that's where the circle is. Power Grid is in that area as well, just like we were saying. So now the players will start accumulating onto this direction. And now, after the circle, is when maximum number of fights will be starting.
Absolutely. And with that, we see Star coming in from the side of Chimasera and bringing themselves in towards the circle, which again could be an interesting turn of events for the side of Star. But you move the conversation towards Hellraisers themselves. They are again just stuck in this small little shack, and they have to get out of this situation. The sooner the better, because they don't have any more utilities to offer, and Team 47 as well as Arcadians have their crosshairs set up for the side of HR.
Well, Arcadians, these 2 players, they have to do something. Not out there inside the circle, but they don't have the exact upper area, if as per se we just want to talk about this. Because onto the upper front of them, you can see there is a big upper hill. They might as well just go and contest that. But 2 players contesting a proper area of Miramar against all the odds, and 15 teams still surviving, it might be a challenge. We still haven't lost even a single team right now.
Absolutely. Right now, we're only seeing knocks and certain kills coming in, but no entire team has been sent back into the lobby thus far. And you talk about this contestation that is going on between the side of Hellraisers as well as Arcadians. Arcadians are locking themselves into that compound, and Hellraisers are set up for them, and their crosshairs already set. But to move the conversation towards the side of Team 47, that did bring in a little bit of a third-party situation for the side of Hellraisers, as well as Arcadians have now got their own problems, as behind them is going to be Magnus.
Well, Team Magnus is just out there, and you can see the kill feed again. The players are going down, the players are getting finished, but still no entire squad wipe has happened. I mean, the first squad wipe, whenever that happens, that starts creating chaos, and everyone's like, no, we gotta go for the kills, we gotta be kill hungry and everything, and that's where, the things just start. So that's how this Miramar again is gonna move forward. We are down to 14 minutes and 30 seconds into this game, almost about to touch 15-minute marker in a while, and that's where the third circle slowly and steadily will be going. Once the clock hits 15 minutes and 30 seconds in the game, then we'll see the fourth circle slowly and steadily coming up, and that's where the players and the teammates will have to seek out good rotation, as the circle is still in the open, except Picaro, as Picaro is still a good area inside the circle.
Absolutely. And talking about Picaro itself, we're looking at the clan of Frost, and Frost, the way this team has got themselves set up, it is just perfect. Yet again, if any of those players do get knocked, it is not going to be easy to get a revival. Or, well, Frost, though they have the control of that entire Picaro region, there is also Immobilis that was up north towards another side, and 2x not that far away as well. So the conversation now moves towards who amongst those 3 teams is going to be able to get that early information and bring that information in towards the kill.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But, well, right now, still just trying to, spot down the players and just trying to see how and where can these fights happen. Look at this. The circle goes down in the open area, and now the players will have to move forward. This open area is really crucial, as TUF is inside the circle. TUF, we know they are capable of good fights. We know in the last game, they did not have the maximum number of people for themselves. That's one of the most important things. But now TUF somehow will have to take all the good fights for their hands. They just have to defend this area. If they do it against like 2 teams or something, they will have the entire game.
They certainly will. And with that, talking about F4 in the center of the circle, getting themselves acclimated to that compound, that is all to themselves. But Team 47 also seem to be working exactly towards that compound itself. And that could very well turn into an interesting turn of events and fight between T4 going against F4. But we shall have to see where Team 47, what exactly is their conversation going to be regarding that early contestation. And with that, of course, we move towards Team 47 itself. And they have TUF in their crosshairs for now. This is going to be a very difficult approach for Team 47, because Team 47 is out in the open, whereas TUF, Thor right now giving away an early information towards the side of Ghost, but Ghost had taken a lot of damage in that small little push.
Well, the grenades are going up, but they are not in the exact location. But hey, the grenades are coming in from the other direction as well. Now, Pharaoh, he has to survive. He has to stay just on to the other side as well, as he knows that, the push might as well just come in from F4 as well. If F4 hear the gunshot, they might as well want to just arrive into this area, go for a third party or something like that. And TUF, just as we were saying, they have to defend the areas, and they are starting it good. If they go for 2-team defenses, they can have this game. They took down one player, but their one player is down as well. ESP is out in the house as well. Nexi onto the back end side, and Khan and Ghost are onto the other area as well. We were just anticipating a fight with TUF, and it just started.
Absolutely, and F4 is not that far behind, where behind the scenes they have made themselves comfortable, and with that, wow, Team 47 has their crosshairs set up with 3 different teams right now.
Whoa.
What exactly is going on in their minds? But with that, we have Team 47 trying to bring a bit more of domination down towards the side of TUF.
I mean, that's a really good area to take a TPP. You can take the TPP against 47 and F4 if they arrive. So TUF, they are trying to look down to two different teams for themselves. Nexi, meanwhile, is taking up a fight against the other players. That's going to be KSF from TG. So TG can go for a good back. So imagine if Nexi is just, focusing his attention on TUF's players. That's where the fights might happen. That's how you park a buggy. That's a brilliant way to park, perfectly parked a buggy just in that area. All right. Well, TUF, they just split themselves. 3 players in one house, 1 player right next to the other house, just trying to see all the other directions, supposedly if they find someone else or if they want to stop some rush.
Absolutely, and with that, Team 47 is out in the open. We've got Hellraisers on behind them, and there is a little bit of contestation going on down towards that side as well, where TE is bringing down Team Grounders player, and Team 47 once again in contestation against this like of TUF. And again, we can see a grenade being setting up, but no, not yet. Khan is not ready to be utilizing that grenade just yet. He is going to wait and probably wait for the perfect time and wait for perhaps more information. On the other side, there is Team 47, and TUF side is bringing in the Molotovs. Even though Venom's Molotov earlier also was just outside the shack, same will be the approach for this Molotov as well.
Well, TUF. Now the major thing, just is for this team. They did not stop the rush. I mean, obviously, they did take down a few players, but they did not wipe the entire squad. So that's one thing. So now TUF, again, is in a lot of trouble. You can see 47 just right next to them, just right behind them. And that might be a bit of a trouble for these players. TE, meanwhile, once again getting caught in their rotations and everything, and they are just slowly and steadily being taken down. We are about to hit 20-minute marker slowly and steadily. Once, the 5th circle just starts moving up forward, everyone will have to see if they get inside the zone or in the fights, because 5th circle, it does a lot of damage.
It certainly does a lot of damage. Right here, we've got 3 teams. That is going to be Hellraisers, TG. That is not looking too good for TE, because they are going to be the ones that will be the butter in this situation. They are taking fights against Hellraiser, and right here, Thug bringing in some perfect Molotov, perfect grenade, and bringing down another knock for the side of Hellraisers, but that does give information towards Akul as well as Crisis from the Grounders, and they will be pushing on along the side of TE.
Whoa, well, goes down as well. Crisis is on to the other side. Might as well take one down. No. Psycho and Thug, they are looking brilliant, but Psycho has to get inside the circle. Now the zone starts to bite, and it's biting big. As you can see, the damage is being done from the circle, so the players will have to see where and how can they make their entry and mark their entry inside the circle. Look at the circle again in the hands of TUF, in the hands of F4. F4 takes down the players of ESN. Judd goes down, will be finished out. ESN is in a lot of trouble. Khan and Walid are inside the circle though, but Walid is really far away from his teammate, and Thug, the zone is clipping in, and he has to do something. Has 3 first aids, but hey, time is crucial.
Time is certainly going to be very crucial for so many of these teams as they make themselves known into the circle. They are going to have to, contest for a position, and for that, of course, utilities are going to be the most important as they try and get themselves in a comfortable position. Talk about TUF, they are looking very structured, because the way they've got themselves set up in that compound is going to be helping them in their approach. But talk about Magnus's approach. Whoa. They have a perfect grenade from Skeps moving down towards the side of Nexi of Team 47, but for now, there is no knock coming in for Skeps.
It did a damage of like 53 or something, but now Nexi again putting up the first hit. Another grenade does a damage of 20, but it's not enough. Weekend is really close. Nexi versus Weekend, they can hear each other's footsteps. They know that they are out. Another grenade just goes down. It's lofted back onto Weekend's side. Will that be bad news for them? But hey, Nexi goes down. The finish just a rise up. That was a smoke. That was a brilliant bait out.
That certainly was a brilliant bait out. And with that, of course, Team 47 already have 2 more of their players set up in the small little shack right behind, but they will probably not want to even even bring out a small little peek, because if they do, they know they are in trouble. And with that, of course, Magnus's approach is bang on the money, and they will be bringing in Molotovs as well as a perfect grenade. And with that, Oreo being the grenadier, bringing down the side of Team 47, knock by knock, player by player. The team of 47 does not have that much more time remaining in this lobby.
Well, this last play, he might as well just go down. Yes, he does. MGS, now they're looking good, but they're fighting against CUF, but ESP goes down. Edgar is onto the other side. Edgar is going backwards. As you can see, they're outside the circle. They cannot waste any time. 40 more seconds, but MGS is holding their area brilliantly. These are the two teams that have had good outings in their particular matches. Then they've always clashed against each other. It's always Skeps who has the upper hand against TUF. But can they not change the course of history right now? That's down to TUF. How and what will they do in their planning if they want to get inside the circle? Because circle has MGS as the main villain against TUF.
Absolutely, and again, TUF losing that one player confirmed. And with that, of course, talk about Magnus. They have taken another fight towards the side of F4, bringing down another player. That is going to be Khan of F4. Whereas on the other side, you talk about Star bringing in domination towards the side of Frost. This is looking like a very dominating lobby as we move in towards the final. Well, 6th circle and 23 minutes in. TUF in a bit of a fix as they try and make that rotation with the 3-man army that they are. Magnus in control of this compound, as well as a lot of information towards so many individual teams.
Well, let's see if Beacon can actually, just take down one head with that Car 98. But hey, Skeps again taking down the players of ESN. Takes down Wally. That's going to be a bad story. But hey, look at what the Buggy is doing. The Buggy is dancing somewhere around in the middle of that area, but Anonymous onto the back end side, and now players of Star have to move up forward. All right, Fury has been spotted down. Retribution onto the other side. Anonymous as well, just with his own teammate. But oh my god, one player of Team Star has been taken down. The revive should be just coming in right now, but Retribution, they have some other plans. But onto the other side, TUF has a good backstab. TUF, Thor and Venom, can they or can they not take up this fight? They are securing the kills for themselves as Venom takes down one. But that also leads one thing, and that is Venom's location has been compromised.
It certainly has, but Star has more troubles, not just TUF, but the other side that they did take a fight up against Immobilist. Well, Immobilist has their crosshairs towards the side of, well, Star, God Ops, as well as Fury. And with that, of course, TUF being the upper hand advantage, not being able to capitalize on that. They have been able to knock down the player of Star, but indeed it is Immobilist stepping into the arena with TUF, 2 players knocked. This is turned into quite a disastrous approach for the side of TUF as well as Star.
Well, TUF and Star both have problems, but look at this. Fury low on HP. No, he goes down. Team Star gets eliminated. Star Ops has been eliminated. Now Immobilist has to move up forward. Can they take up a fight against TUF? Look at this. The revivals are coming in, but now they do sense that there's another team, the team that the Star was actually fighting against, and the revive onto Immobilist players should just arrive right now, but the circle's going to leave them, or will it stay? That's one of the most important questions. TUF, Thor goes down. TUF, Venom gets eliminated. TUF onto the side is in a lot of trouble, but well, the elimination just arrives against TUF. We are down to 4 teams.
We are certainly down to 4 teams, and in that, of course, Immobilist not looking too good because Retribution has the advantage. As soon as Immobilist try and push on along, it will be Retribution that will, of course, put themselves in front of the side of Immobilist. Again, those Scout trying to first things first revive Satan for his team and get 2 men moving on along through the circle. But on this side, of course, you talk about Team F4 and Retribution. They are looking really good. Retribution, though, are in the open, and Team F4 certainly did have a little bit of help off the compound, but they're going to have to leave the safety of that compound and now rush towards the circle, which again is going to favor probably Retribution.
The circle is favoring Retribution, but Retribution has to take fight from Immobilist, F4 and MGS, like 3 different directions, and that's the toughest thing that they have to do right now. But in this one, see, whosoever shoots first loses first. That's the thing. Right now, Scout did take down one. Just like I said, whosoever shoots first loses first. Immobilist, they shot first, they go down because there were so many heads on them, and that's how they took up the fight against them. But now F4, they have to get inside the circle. Talk about the team of MGS, they have to get inside the circle. Somehow Retribution, they have the time for the revivals, but now comes the major race. Now the kills will be secured. F4 will be moving inside the circle as MGS gets eliminated. This fight is a 3v4 fiesta.
It certainly is, where indeed F4 is making their way through the smoke wall that they've created down towards the side of Retribution, and Retribution are all pretty much set up. They still have not been able to revive all of their players, but with that, F4 Wolverine already Wolverine bringing in the domination and bringing in a perfect utilization of that grenade for now.
Well, F4 is looking really good. Destroyer, Zad and Wolverine. Obviously, Khan was taken down. But now comes the major thing. Can they take this fight? I mean, will they create a 2-1 split for themselves? Zaydan is actually really close to Wolverine. Might as well just go for the 2-player split. And Destroyer on from the off angle. He has been spotted or not? That's the question as well. This team has 6 kills. So does F4. Who's going to enjoy more kills by the end of the game? That's the bigger question right now. Plus the difference of 15 points and 12 points. But hey, Bacha goes down, making it a 3v3. His location was compromised. Zaydan being one with the nature right now. And the 7 circus slowly still just coming in. Does anyone have a grenade? Because one grenade can rule them all if you go with a perfect throw. But look at this. Look at this. Trying to take down the players. Playzone takes down Zaydan, but it's a 2 versus 2 situation somehow. Wolverine and Destroyer trying to take him every inch of the fight. If they go from a left flank, they might as well take down one player. Oh, the finish was about to be done on that situation. But hey. They are still trying to do every inch of the damage. The circle is still with Retribution. It's just a matter of chance. Can they take this fight?
Well, they certainly need to be able to try, and with that, of course, F4 Wolverine bringing in another knock from the side of Retribution. Retribution has been brought down to just behind that small little vehicle, and with that, of course, the conversation is, will F4 be able to push along? They don't have utilities from the looks of it, and as soon as they try and do so, well, either they do, or the circle is going to be able to knock them down, and that is going to be the detrimental position that will force which team will be able to move on along. Wolverine and Destroyer, the way they've got themselves set up is a perfect flank, but the only problem being that slowly and steadily Retribution is still able to survive, even though their players are clustered up behind that vehicle.
Retribution trying to create chaos, but look at this Wolverine moving up forward. Has a good helmet though, has a decent vest. Can he take up this fight? His location is spotted. His location is compromised in the situation. Everyone has the crosses on Wolverine. Will this be the game-changing moment for F4? Cause the one player onto the other side might as well create a good flank angle, but he cannot get inside the circle. He has been just spotted down onto that location. Destroyer goes down. Wolverine so close yet so far. Retribution just moving up forward. He might as well be taken down. Retribution gets that win.
What a perfect play from Retribution indeed. This is the team taking the third game's chicken dinner. Perfect play. Not the best of the best locations to be stuck in, but indeed you talk about look positions. This did work in their favor, and with that 9 total kills, a total damage of 13, 14 and 24 points for this team. GG. Moved on along perfectly.
I mean, 9 good kills coming up from these individuals, and that was brilliant. That was brilliant the way, the kills did arrive, the way the players, took up every inch of their fight. So I'm just pumped up the way the final circle was just an adrenaline rush through all the players.
It certainly was. I mean, Team F4, they did not have any more utilities left. They did not have any more of covers left apart from the rock, and there was this perfectly placed tree in the center through which Wolverine was able to push because he had a flank already positioned, but eventually again he was going against a team that was already exactly 3 players. They were already ready from both the flanks that could have been brought in. But with that, let's move towards the most valuable player from this game, and that goes towards the side of Team F4, Zaydan, with 5 kills, 932 damage and only 44 healing done throughout 25 minutes and 43 seconds of survival time.
Wow, only 44 healing done. I mean, what is it, like just boosters or something? I don't know, because this is brilliant. 932 damage, that's incredible.
Absolutely. With that, let's also have a look at the top players from this game, and indeed in that we will of course see Zaydan, but along with that Retribution has one player that's going to be Sean with 6 kills and 718 damage.
Yeah, that is true. Oreo is out there as well from MGS. Skeps. I mean, Skeps always like to be here with his gameplays and everything. 528 damage by that individual. That was impressive. But if we still talk about, I still remember one thing. Wolverine was putting up a med kit. Yes. He cancelled that. Had he put up a med kit, he might have, just had the confidence to just go in.
True, he certainly could have and should have been able to do so, but eventually again the way this all played out, it was right off the bat against them, because I mean Team 4, the positioning was on point, they had the cover, but what they did not have was the safety net of the circle itself.
Yeah. That's true, that's true. But let's have a look at the ranking as well, and let's see where it just takes down everyone. Magnus had good number of kills. F4, obviously, they tried really good. They had 7 kills for themselves. Retribution, the chicken dinner, the enjoyment that they are doing with that chicken dinner, that's brilliant. Immigals, Bliss, they have 12 total points for themselves. That's impressive. Like, the numbers in this game were really good. In fact, with the top 5 teams.
Exactly. I mean, it has certainly been a game where, indeed, the kill department has been shared amongst all the lobby members. Again, as we move on towards the top, or rather the bottom 16, we will see how big of a... Oh yes, actually, I mean, throughout the lobby, each and every team did end up getting at least 1 or 2 kills.
Yeah, they did. If we just talk about this one, Royals, Rounders, Arcadians, all the players did really good for themselves. But now the matter of chance is how far, they can even go. Because one game, we talk about it. One game, you get 1 point, 1 point. Like every team got something for them. And that's for some teams, that might be a desperate good start.
Absolutely, that certainly is. And that is going to be detrimental as they move along. And maybe for some teams, it might not be. Again, the conversation will be very dicey. But with that, let's move on towards the upper moments and look on to the best highlights that were created throughout the map of Miramar.
Okay, so this was the start. Obviously, the ending happened with this one, and that was brilliant. But if we just move forward with everything, I would still remember about the fight. Yeah, the grenades that kind of changed the course of the game against Arcadians. Those were some brilliant ones. If we talk about more and more things, Arcadians, the way they tried to hold their area. TUF again, a really good fight. But TE's this clutch against Crisis, that was brilliant.
That certainly was brilliant. I mean, they were taking on fight towards the left-hand side as well as the back-end where the grounders tried to push them, but it was not in any favor. Rather, it was in vain because TE was ready and prepped. But move the conversation towards the way Magnus approached this situation. They brought this side off this perfect push and into their favor. That was just GG play indeed. And Magnus again, I mean, throughout, we know that Magnus has been very, very consistent in all the games that they have played. Now, this is where Star was caught out because they had TUF on one side, they had Retribution on one side, and they had Immobilist on the other side altogether. And indeed, it was TUF that could have been able to capitalize on that high hill approach, but were not able to do so because Immobilist as well as Retribution moved against the push from TUF and were able to knock them down.
Well, this was the other thing. I mean, Zidane just taking them down. But look at this. Zidane went down by the play zone. He could have gone into the smoke that was right next to him, but he could not at that moment. I don't know what happened at that one. Wolverine did take down one player, but in that only his location was compromised. And that's one of the most important things. The most important thing was, had Destroyer not been spotted, players would have been moving on Wolverine, and then Destroyer would have used that angle to take down at least 2 players or something like that.
Easily outflanked them. That could have been the possibility. But again, I mean, that's what I was always trying to look on towards. Wolverine did not have any utilities left, but the other player, if they would have had any utilities, the push from F4 genuinely could have worked in their favor because the Retribution was just bunched up into that small little zone, and that too was so very contested because as soon as a little bit of spray was coming in, they were getting knocked.
Exactly. And that kind of just changed quite a lot of things if we just talk about the players and the game players. But some players and some teams did actually get a lot of points from this one.
Oh yes, they did. With that, let's have a look at the overall ranking indeed, and Magnus Esports moving on top with 7 games that they have played, 122 points with 62 kills. Magnus Esports, again, you talk about consistency, this team has been nothing but consistent throughout each and every game that they've played.
Yeah, NFP on to the other hand, they are out here as well. Portal Esports, obviously they have been dropped down, that's one thing, but now I want to see, what's the final score, and after the final game today, once it happens, Team Retribution, they had obviously the good game, and this one, they are on the 9th position right now. Zarar, H2E, C4 Gaming, Knockout, BFM, they're not playing today, so that's one thing. Freestyle as well, so they are just waiting to see the final tally as well. Like, what is the climb that they have to do once they come back?
Absolutely, and again, you move the conversation towards the next, or rather the bottom 16 teams is where we are looking at a lot of these teams that have not been able to clutch it thus far. You talk about Team 47, talk about Team Frost,
yeah, exactly.
Yes, exactly. So many of these teams that have so much more to prove.
Yeah, they want that one game. That's what I'm saying. They just really want one good game. Imagine 44 points right now, Emical's place, or maybe Team 47 50 points. That would be easy. Once you're gonna 65, 10 kills, 75. That's a really good jump.
That certainly would be a good jump, and that is a jump that is required by Hellraisers. No questions asked about it. I mean, that was just a really good play coming in from them. But the push that they were bringing in along into the initial fights itself did not favor them. But again, they still have that game remaining, which will of course take them back to the OG map of Erangel, where indeed anything can happen actually for any of these teams.
I mean, that's one thing for sure. We still have to see, how the fights just go down in that Erangel. How will it be different from the first Erangel and yesterday's Erangel? The squad vibes. That's one thing that was happening.
True. I mean, that was the final game, and within the first 3 minutes, we were looking at 2 to 3 squads already being brought down and exactly sent back into the lobby itself. So again, this is going to be the final match that will be starting, but we're going to go on a very short break. Stick around, we're going to be right back. Hello and welcome back once again to PUBG Mobile Club Open. This is of course in the Pakistan region and it is the spring split from which of course teams are working towards PMPL Season 3 and it is all of course thanks to Reno 5 Pro. With that, we are on day number 4. 3 games already done. Move on to the final game now, Erangel. And this is going to be...
I mean, that's what I want to see the change in. Yesterday's Erangel, the first and the last, different. Today's Erangel, the first, really good. Last... We still have to see. We don't have the time stone yet. We still have to see how that one just pans down, right? So that's one of the things that we just have to, just look forward to, because there are so many teams. You can obviously see the names of those teams just, scrolling down out here on your screen. So if you want to just support your team, just, hashtag with the name of your favorite team in the chat. That's one of the most important things. But the most important thing, even more important, that is how are the players going to pan this one out?
Oh, yes. And talking about pan, hopefully, I mean, we missed the previous...
Not pan. I mean... Just play this game. Not pan, no.
All right. But then again, I mean, the sentence completely makes sense that how exactly are they going to be able to pan it into their situation or into a conversation that they could very well have at the end of day number 4. But also, talking about yesterday's game, again, today we are looking at Group C and B going against each other. Yesterday it was Group A and D. The way they started off and the way the day ended was a complete 360 turn, 180 degree turn from the way they played. But now, again, it has to be the teams that were at the bottom from 24th till the 32nd position or maybe even the 16th till the 32nd position. They are the ones who are going to have to really buck up and pick up the pace.
I mean, that's totally true, right? In a while, obviously, we'll be seeing a match on the screens, and we'll be, casting that match with the journey of all the players for what they'll be doing. But the most important thing in this one is going to be the circle again, right from the bat, right from the bat. If a team is inside the circle, they can for sure. Think about it. F4, like the way they made their way inside the circle, that was brilliant. Retribution. True. They stayed inside the zone with the chaos happening around them in the previous game. Like those moments, those were really brilliant. We saw them in the open moments as well.
Oh yes, that is true. And again, I mean, you talk about the way the Sanhok game played out, indeed, the way the first Erangel game played out, indeed. There has been a lot of different approaches throughout the teams themselves. Again, at times you see F4 just bringing in a lot of early rotations and momentous plays. But again, there are so many times where they are taking a low-key approach and just working towards just getting into the zone first, and then maybe they bring the aggression level. But so many different conversations based on the team that you're looking at. Because again, you talk about ESN, the way Esports Nation played. Beautiful Sanhok.
That's one thing, but sometimes we see early fights happening even in Severny, in Erangel, just we sometimes see fights happening even onto the sides of backlines of Gatka. Still, military base. I want teams to go there. I want more and more teams to say that. Last time the circle forced them to go there. I want to see something different happening.
Well, again, we can keep our fingers crossed for the same, because we know that there are certain teams who do like to take that opportunity whenever they are given the opportunity, that is, of course. But again, talk about the final rotation teams and the way teams have been grinding. Maybe this might be the game where all of them will probably be down into one cluster, and right off the bat, we're going to be looking at early aggression from all the teams. As soon as somebody spots somebody, well, they are probably going to be just no trigger control whatsoever at all and just bring them down, bring those kills, bring those points.
I mean, they would want that, right? Obviously, we'll be jumping into the match really soon, and we'll be seeing where everything just goes down. So, let's just, get into the match. Let's see where the flight path is, where everything is going to be for this one. Oh, so this is a southern flight path. Milta power to Primorsk. So many chances to go to military base, so many chances to go to Nevorepnai. But mostly in these kind of circles, like in these kind of flight paths, we see circle going on to just a northern ship. We'll still have to see where the circle goes. It's a rare chance the circle goes down to military base. Rare chance.
Well, right now, if nothing else, never mind the circle. Right now, the teams certainly have a lot of opportunity to be going down towards the military base and contesting for the guns and the locations and the positions themselves. Because again, you talk about the furthest that the team will be able to go from this flight path. You're looking at school, ruins, perhaps hospital. Further than that is going to be a bit more of a tricky affair.
Yeah, that is true. After school, it might just be difficult, right? Because school, still a decent area to just open your parachute just a bit early and glide down to that area. But after that, you will have to think about it. Even Rozok, you'll have to think about it. Georgopol, again, you have to think about a lot of things. You might as well take a vehicle from Gatka, just run in onto Georgopol if you want to be the first one to go for the loot. But you can see the players dropping down, and Novorepnoi is where we might as well see the early skirmishes happening.
Oh yes, we've got the clan and the team of Hellraisers as well as ESN. That is going to be Esports Nation. And on the other side is Frost team. That is going to be perfect because they have the entirety of the military base and the apartments in there to themselves, whereas on the other side you talk about no reply. That is where the first few fights could be triggered from the side of probably Hellraisers, but never mind that conversation. As you move a little bit up north from there, you are looking at Magnus. And Magnus has a very segregated approach as of now down towards Milta Power.
Well, this is where the circle is going up right now, so it kind of just changes a few things. You can see the Potato Hill. That's where the circle, just might end the shelter to Potato Hill. And as just we were talking about it, right? Not a lot of teams will be going to Yasna as of now because the flight path was not allowing them, and Rozhok as well. But the circle has those area in the bound, so if you just want to go and take up some loot, you can go there. Hassan, meanwhile, has to try and spot down a few players. Does not have a helmet though, and a backpack as well. Has a DBS as a secondary weapon and UMP as a primary weapon. But look at this. Sometimes you don't need guns.
No, yes, a fall damage coming in and a fall kill.
Oh, kill. Just
wow. Wow, just perfect.
That's first blood or just, first, what do you call it?
Well, again, I mean, you getting run down like that.
First run down, I mean.
Yep, that is just not the kind of way you want to start off, and that's retribution right there, taking a knock for, or rather kill for the team.
Yeah, that's true. But hey, now he has a gun as well and taking down another players from Arcadians. Well, Retribution, they are starting off really good, just like they did in the previous game. The ending was impressive. Now, the starting is even better. Already enjoying those skills. Does not have a helmet or vest. But hey, if you're in a vehicle, sometimes you don't need helmet and a vest.
Exactly. All that means is that you need to be bringing in that early domination. That's exactly what we're looking at right here. Gone TG bringing in that control and bringing in a perfectly controlled aggression and converting that into a kill down against the likes of Team 47 with a Scarel. And that is just GG play. And right off the bat, Ocean, from the looks of it, Group B and C are also going to be bringing in that early domination and early fights. And with that, hopefully, we're going to be looking at teams being sent back into the lobby within the first 5 to 8 minutes. And with that, Retribution, Badshah right now sticking around in the same house because they do know there is a player from Arc that is right around the compound, but they do not have any information as to what house. And move this back towards TG. The rounder, they did take one player out from Team 47, and now there seems to be another. That is going to be Ghost, who has already given away his information, and that is going to be a GG play. But yes, that is it. TG taking the perfect knock once again, bringing that and converting that into 2 kills, and they are slowly and steadily moving along with a pretty decent pace. They've got all 4 players alive, and Team 47 not so lucky though. They've got their 2 players already being sent back into the lobby. Retribution also the same kind of an affair, and that of course is not the kind of way you want to start off, and it's only been 4 minutes.
As of now, yeah, it is, but we'll still have to see, how the things just change down onto the stuff. As we can see, the players still trying to make it out as their best. Well, that's going to be a different story, but right now HRL, so Snaker is still out here. Down onto this Ninja as well. We still have to see when does this fight, breaks down. Who will be the one breaking down the first wall against both the teams, and when will they just, go on each other? Because if we're talking about this, every player now, they have had ample time for their loot, and now just one thing, see and shoot.
Absolutely. Now it's just about getting that information, relaying it to your team members, and then just battling it out and talking about the battle itself. It certainly seems like ESN, Esports Nations Khan right here, is slowly moving towards the side of Hellraisers, but the Hellraisers' approach in this is very dissected. They have Ninja very far away. Hassan is very close to him. If Hassan is able to spot him and knock him out, there is no way HR is going to be able to bring in that revival for the man.
Yeah, that is true. But right now, still, we have to see, how the things just pan out. HR Snaker is just out there again, just moving forward from one direction to the other direction. And as we can see, the players just going down. And I wouldn't believe if this is a flank. It's just a vehicle that they found to get their own teammates. That's one thing that I can see as of right now. But, well, one player gets spotted. One good Kar 98 shot takes down one player. And now the fights are going to be happening knowingly or unknowingly. Now ESN, they have to decide, do they rush or do they stay? Because it's an open area and they don't know the exact location of all the 4 players.
Exactly. Right now, it's all about the information. And that is it. Khan has certainly reached that location. And with that, he's going to convert that, hopefully, into a kill. But Adnan right there is bringing in a smoke wall, trying to, of course, let the player know that I'm here, mate. Just hang on tight, Erangel. I'm here. But it certainly doesn't seem like he's going to be able to help out much because Erangel is up on top of that house. And that is going to be very, very difficult to bring in that
the kill confirmation or something for Khan. That's totally true. But the thing about Khan is he knows that Adnan might just come from that direction. Plus, the best thing about this fight is they are still inside the circle. It's the first circle that's forming up, so they have an ample amount of time. Now, I think Khan just knows that D range is down and he might as well just go for the finish. This might just happen right about now. He has to spot down one player. He does spot him down. He does know that he's going back for the revival, so he knows the location of Adnan as well in this one. And he does spot him down. The confirmation, all right, it just comes down right now. And so, all right, now Adnan has to go for a plan B. He's like, I'm spotted. Maybe, maybe not. But now he definitely is. Now his location has been taken down. And the cover, I would say, has just arrived. But for how long? As another player just gets spotted. Is there a confirmation? Snake is on low HP. The damage has been done. But look at Ninja. Can UMP do the damage? Does not have a helmet. Does not have a vest. Does not have a backpack. Does not have heals. Does not have anything except guns.
That is it. He is on top of there. He's got the information, but he's not going to be able to take that fight in his favor. And with that, of course, ESN bringing in control over Hellraisers. They have knocked Ninja down. There is no way to get his revival. As we had just discussed earlier, they have fanned approach. The team of HR had such a fanned approach that it was going to be very, very difficult to be able to convert this into a proper team fight. And with that, of course, Khan still maintaining his position. His teammate seems to be right there to give him the support.
Okay. Well, everyone just standing right next to him. That was one thing that they were doing. But now I want to see, what are they doing? They're not finishing him. They are just standing. They are doing nothing.
Is that a bait?
I mean, I didn't know what it is. Snaker takes down Hassan. Snaker takes down Judd. Were they AFK or something? What just happened? They took two of the players out and they are going to go for the revival as well on the teammate. How is this changing the course of the game? What is happening?
What just happened? Of course, we saw that was a clear kill coming in from the side of ESN, but eventually it seems like Hellraisers have just turned the tide around and it is in their favor once again. They've only lost that one player. They, of course, have Ninja up top, and that is, of course, going to be a difficult position to be able to bring in. But eventually, wow, ESN have lost two players and given away 2 points very clearly to HR.
What happened with the other two players? Like, why are they leaving? I mean, they know the exact location where their other players were. They can take up a fight. Well, let's see. The grenades come and grenades go, but the damage does not happen at all on both the directions. I don't know why that rhymes. I might just be a poet myself. But well, TUF thought he is trying to go with the grenades once again, and he has to pick up a good fight. Will he go for the third one? Oh, the damage was done onto this one. And TUF Edgar, meanwhile, his own teammate is down on the HP side. Crisis, if one more grenade just connects before he puts up a first hit, that might be a tricky affair. But well, he does put up a first hit, and now 39 damage has been done. But hey, TG, they'll still have to see as one of the players does go down. It was Abul. He has been taken down. Now KSF has to move forward, take up a fight, or has to revive the teammates. It's kind of a difficult thing to just judge in this moment, right?
Absolutely, the push coming in from the side of TUF is certainly going to be working in their favor, whereas TG, the grounders, are being sent back into the lobby from the looks of it. Shaptar is another man that has been knocked, and with that, Akbul is already knocked. KSF remaining on the back end is, of course, Crisis, who has his own battle going on against Adgar, and this is not looking good for the side of Team Grounder. It certainly seems like this is probably going to be a very tricky affair, but indeed TUF Thor did end up taking a knock, but eventually it is TUF Venom bringing control into his favor and has, of course, knocked and sent that player back into the lobby.
Well, KSF needs a revive right now. Crisis is trying to take every inch of fight on his own self. He has spotted on one player, uses the medkit, he gets spotted down, and he goes down as well. I mean, that was the medkits animation and the guns animation, just coming out. Those two things kind of just relayed a lot of time against TG's players, and TUF take this fight. Now, again, the squad vibes have started. We are down to the same fashion. In the 10th minute of the game, there's the first team to get eliminated, and TUF is looking strong once again. So TUF always has a really strong start, but the ending is always a different approach from this team.
Absolutely. On the other side, when you talk about the kill feed, we just noticed that there was TE, that is of course Expendables, bringing in some perfect knocks down towards the side of Magnus, and this is the fight that we were just looking at in the kill feed, where Magnus is out in the open, caught out in the open indeed. They've got F4 on the back end side of them. They have the information that there is another team, but of course in front of them is going to be TE, that is the Expendables, and this could be a very deadly affair for the side of Magnus because they are out in the open. They do not have a lot of cover out here apart from the cars that they are in, the vehicles that they are in, and this could be a very difficult situation for the like of Adil and Weekend.
Yeah, that is true. But now, let's see how the things are going to be panning out. Well, if we're talking about the circle and the areas around it, well, F4 is looking at a really good position for themselves. But MGS, they are still trying to go for something else. Skeps did go down, and that's kind of a bad thing because he was the one who used to change the game. Sometimes, like in the past 3 games, we have seen that thing happening. But now MGS, we'll have to see how this team, just gets up with the fight against all these odds right now. 2x official NSC, they are looking really good, but they are against the players of the Expandables. So the teams are really close to each other. One medkit has been dropped down. Probably the other player wants to use it or something. I mean, Tears does not have anything except bandages and energy drink. He might as well just take that one. I mean, it's always a good thing to have that. But, well, Zaron goes down by Oreo. Will they rush? That's the question.
Well, that is turning into quite an affair right here, where indeed Magnus has taken a fight up against the side of F4, but on the other side, as you just noticed, there is TE, that is Expendables, and 2X right behind them. So Magnus is certainly still in that low-key position where they are in between pretty much a sandwich or a third-party situation. But will TE and 2X get into a fight, or will Magnus be the one that will be able to walk out of this absolutely fine? With that, of course, when you talk about, well, as I was just bringing that conversation up, 2X certainly has a fight taken against Magnus, and Magnus, one player has been knocked down, that is Oreo. One player has already been killed, that was Keps, and with that, 2X will probably want to utilize this. They will maybe want to utilize this by using a few more utilities, but indeed, with that, a deal will be helping out his team.
I think it's just out there, and we'll have to see how the situation strict down on this one, as Yasna is empty right now. This circle is going to be just pointing up just a bit downwards right now. School's area is empty as well, and the open area from Yasna to school, that's a really good area for Arcadians to come down and look at the circle again. We were talking about the Potato Hill. That's what the circle slowly is going on. Potato Hill and all those 4 areas, the 4 roads, and that's where the clusters forming up. You get a good pit. That's where MGS is. You get TE onto the backside of the houses. The road from Yasna to the zone is going to be securing one good airdrop that has an M249. I mean, if someone has it, 100 bullets can do a lot of damage.
Absolutely. One spray and you've got the vehicle destroyed and blown apart. No questions about it. But indeed, with that, you move towards Royal. They have had a decent outing thus far. Have not been able to capitalize on a lot of points, but they certainly are looking pretty okay on the overall leaderboard itself. And talk about F4, they are also in the open, but as of now, they don't have a lot of teams contesting against their position, apart from the team that is right in front of them, that is Royal, making that rotation.
Play zones taking down HR's players, and that's one thing. They were outside in Nova Noise area. They still are trying to see if they find someone or someone not, and that's where the circle's playing its own game, its own mind game against these players. F4, meanwhile, they are just rotating. They have to get inside the circle. They are rotating around the circle. You can see the distance increasing. That means they are rotating outside from around the circle, and then they'll go for an inside rotation. That's a brilliant move. That's a good move. You are avoiding the fights right now, which might or might not happen, and then once you get inside the circle, you'll get a really good area, a really good understanding of where the zone might as well just shift down. Now all of them have just dropped down right now out of their vehicles, and they are really close to a circle. That's brilliant. Well, HR's players, again, the play zone is being cruel to them.
Absolutely. We just saw another player being sent back to the lobby from the side of HR, that is Hellraisers, and this is Royal still making that rotation in towards the side of 2X Kratos, and this could be a very difficult position for Kratos to defend because he's only a one-man army at this compound. And again, when it comes to Royal, they've got all 4 players pushing on alongside this, and this is going to be very difficult. If Kratos can utilize some utilities right now, he would probably be able to stop the push coming in from the side of Royal, and that could not capitalize.
Well, he has been taken and the finish will be coming in. Obviously, they should check the other areas as well. No one's out there. But the thing is, just to be on the safer side, they might as well just go and check the other areas. And F4, meanwhile, you can see the players just onto that direction. Royal Gangster low on HP. Obviously, will be putting up a first aid as well. So that's one thing. But F4 sounds like the players, they did hear these sounds and they're like, all right, so one player did go down. That means the team that is here, they might be a good target to have a decent fight.
Absolutely, and F4 has gotten the information with the sound cues, and they will maybe want to convert that in towards them and get a few points, because right now they don't have any kills or knocks in their favor, but there seems to be a lot of information being spread across, and that is what F4 is rushing towards. They do know that in this compound there is one team and they have their crosshairs towards them, but that's not it. They want to be able to get into a safe place, because right now they're quite spread out and they're in the open.
Yeah, the area that's where, in between the Potato Hill and that the road, that's where the zone's going up again. TUF has to get inside the circle. The best part from them is right from the southern side, but that's where they might just contest against Frost, and HR is out here as well. But F4 is just kind of holding the zone for themselves against the Royals. And the thing is, previously, Royals were thinking that they have a really good area. They have that house for themselves and everything, but now the circle just moves away from them.
Absolutely. That perfect comfort that they had of that perfect compound will have to be given away as the circle has pushed them out of that situation. But talk about Frost. The player from Frost has perfect information down towards and was able to, well, bring in a little bit of... nothing actually. There was no knock, there was no damage, nothing actually. But he did have the information, so that is of course going to be important because Frost also has all 4 members alive right now, and they know that when it comes to top of the hill, there is a team or there is at least one player waiting for them.
That is true, but now let's see how things might just change. 47, the 2 players, they are still just moving up right now. 47, Feroy is just out there, but hey, I think the thing is the rotation might just be a bad thing at this moment. You know, around the circle, you just have to go in just like the players of Team Royal are going, because, you know, they avoided the fight from F4. They were bold enough to just run past them and... Wait, are they going for a U-turn? Alright, so they are just, you know, keeping their vehicle safe and sound out there. But Wolverine might as well take one player down or something. But hey, Wolverine is getting shot from the right-hand side, and he has to be aware of that. But 2x official NSE steer, he might be in a lot of problem. He goes down.
He certainly does go down. Magnus certainly taking up fights all the way they possibly can, and with that, there is another kill confirmed for the side of Magnus, and that gives them another point. Now 2x down to 3-man, rather bring it down to 2-man, because Magnus's Oreo is on a spree, so is Adil, bringing 3 kills to his team, and that is just perfect. But talk about Retribution, they are still a 3-man army, apologies, and they have a pretty decent control of this edge of the circle. There's nothing behind them. They know that there are teams in front of them. That is going to be, of course, 2x as well as TE, but how exactly are they going to be convert that into a fight that will favor them? We'll have to see. But in here, of course, it is F4 Khan who had the upper hill advantage for the longest time, and has now slowly started working towards and bringing in that point for his team. That will give him first point for this game. That is, of course, towards F4.
As of now, yeah, that is just out there. Well, Team Arcadians gets eliminated, though. That's just one thing that just happened. So now we'll have to see what happens with the other players and the other teams. If a team has a high ground advantage, sorry, and that's where F4 is. Like, they have a really good area. They can spot down the players onto the downside, if any, but there were none. So now they slowly and steadily just start to move on. Will be looting this crate for sure, and after that, might as well just take up a fight. Look at Retribution. The players are still surviving, except one, and they might as well have up a good fight for themselves. Team Frost has all the 4 players surviving, but the thing is, they are not going aggressive enough as of now. Probably they are waiting for the right moment.
Absolutely, and with that, Royals and TE right here taking an interesting turn of events, where Royal bringing in an early aggression down towards the side of Expendables, but they are out in the open, whereas on the other side, of course, Expendables have the cover of those houses. And again, you talk about Frost. Frost certainly is going to be moving down towards the side of F4, where they know that F4 is actually pretty segregated and separated, where Khan is so very far away from the other lads of Team F4 that if at all he does get a knock, it is going to be very difficult for the team of F4 to be able to revive him.
Look at that, Edgar. Alright, so they did spot each other, but Simba, he did get a bit of a damage, if anything. So Frost Klaus is just out there again, just trying to spot down the players if he can or if he cannot. Well, Simba and is also onto this direction. I want to see where the circle... Alright, so Royal is the only team inside the circle. Expandables can make their way. They have an easy outing inside the circle. Team Star as well, they can just... They have to rush straight inside the circle. Retribution is in a lot of trouble right now.
Absolutely, Retribution is trying to take up fights across that small little hill that they are hiding behind, but they have the circle pushing on for them, and they have to move away from that. And also keeping in mind that Magnus is right around the corner, that could be very difficult situation for Retribution to be able to convert that push in their favor. With that, we're talking about Magnus. Magnus is right here, and Retribution certainly bringing in those kills towards them, and with that, Magnus is not looking good, and this is going to be quite a difficult affair, where indeed Retribution still has all 3 members alive, and they have slowly and steadily knocked out 2 players of Magnus for now.
It might be a really tricky situation. TFN, meanwhile, enjoying those 5 kills, the rampage that he is on. Retribution now moving up forward. Just as we were talking about the rotation that might just be difficult for them, they are moving, but they are creating a lot of noise against their opponents. Look at this. Star Anonymous. Whoa, was he chasing him on vehicle or something? No, he was just keeping a safer side for himself. They have a good area, Team 47. All right, next he's surviving, but for how long? As you can see, he is getting shot down from the other direction as well. He has to stay safe. He has to stay safe. 1 pixel is where he is safe onto the other other side, he might as well just make a mistake. Look at that. Thor has been spotted down as well. Well, Maxima, he is out there. But for how long? Frost, look at Klaus. He's getting a revival onto the other side. Oh, Maxima, that would have been a bad mistake.
Frost, he had the crosshairs all perfectly set up. He could see the player and he could see the smoke being popped as well. But eventually, for some odd reason, Maximum was not able to take that shot. And in that, doing so, he has lost his team members. But talking about TUF, they have been grinding and they have gotten 6 kills as of now. All 4 members alive, but they are in the open and thus creating a smoke wall to defend against all the different teams that are around them. And Immobilist right here, not looking good as Venom is right around to sting them.
Well, Immobilist exactly, but hey, Venom is getting shot from the other direction as well. He is safe though, right now, because that vehicle is kind of like a prime cover as of now. But the thing is, they might as well need this vehicle if they want to move forward once the circle just, starts leaving them. Probably in the later stages, as they have just one area for them, and that is to the edge of the circle. Well, Reaper, is this going to be a good grenade? We'll find out slowly and steadily. It was like nobody home in that one. Edgar is down though, needs a revive. ESP might help.
But with that, what Frost has done is given away that information towards the side of TUF that there is another team that they ought to be keeping an edge of that is right behind them. And indeed, when you talk about TUF's approach, we just did see that when it comes to the Mans, they have been separated themselves. Venom and along with his teammate, they are right here. And the smoke not going out as was planned, getting rebounced by the teammate. But that's okay again. It is going to be creating a different smoke wall towards the other side. And that again is nothing that turned against them.
Well, Reaper again is trying to spot down the players if he can, and well, Simba is out here as well. Still trying to spot down the opponents and everything. TUF Venom goes down meanwhile onto the situations, and you can see TUF 2 players are down. ESP and Edgar, they are still out there. Frost is moving up forward as well. The team as a whole unit, all those players, and anonymous takes on Royal Gangster. Alright, so this is going to be a tricky and tough situation for them. Edgar, how long can he survive? That's the question. If the buggy blasts on him, this might be a bad thing as well. He has to survive somehow, and now the revive. Alright, these are critical revives because the timer is not in their favor. The zone's coming up as well.
And with that, Frost taking control of the already broken TUF team. And Frost, the kind of spawn approach that they've got towards this time is just perfect. And TUF is certainly going to be pushed along. This is just perfect. If Frost Reaper can be a bit more quick in terms of their approach and start utilizing those utilities, TUF could be in a very tight spot as they have already spanned across the team of TUF.
Well, TUF ESP is getting shot from the right-hand side as well. Alright, yeah, you can see this. Frost Simba, alright, he has been spotted on as well, but no, ESP goes down onto the other direction as Simba was looking really good, and now Frost is actually getting good control. But the thing is, Maximus is the last one surviving. The zone was not the best friend of Frost, and that is where you can see the rivalry of Frost and the circle just panning up.
Absolutely. Since the start itself, there you go. As soon as Frost tried to make that push, there was no way the team would be allowed to do so. And with that, of course, TUF taking the upper hand. And along with that, TUF, Thor and Venom, the 2-man remaining, will push on forth into the circle. With that, we've got 7 teams remaining right now. And this is going to be quite an interesting turn of events because F4 is looking pretty good. So is, of course, the side of Royals. But who will be the one who will shine in them amongst them?
Well, Retribution on 7. They do get eliminated. We're down with 6 teams. F4, what can they do? I mean, destroys outside the circle. They cannot save that human. But the thing is, those 3 players are still deadly. I mean, F4, this is a back-to-back good game for this team if we're just talking about this one. But hey, Expandables, are they spotted? Are they spotted? Is the location compromised? That's one of the most important things. But F4 is really close to the players. Royals, a good grenade. If that's a grenade, that's a brilliant one. But I will have to see what happens as a smoke or a grenade. Something is popping up right now. And therefore, they are moving up forward. They're slow and steady. But will they win the race? That's the most important thing. I mean, the smoke, once it goes down, they have to understand that the Royal is really close to them.
Absolutely. They are right on top of Royal for now. And this is just a perfect turn of events for the side of F4. But eventually, when you talk about conversion, it was Royal who was able to convert that into their favor. And they were able to knock that player, not only knock, but send him back into the lobby. But with that being out in the open, being in the center or almost in the center, Royal has given away a lot of information and has also taken a lot of damage. With that, we're down to almost, well, just 4 teams now.
Well, you can see Team Star is out here. The Expandables, they needed a good game. They got a good game in this one. Royal is surviving as well. And TUF, again, TUF is actually a tough team. Look at Venom, 9 kills. Wow. How far can he go? Venom and Thor, these 2 players, they will have to do something. I mean, they are marvelous if you just look at this.
True, that is so true. Again, you talk about Venom and Thor and the way they've had this approach throughout the game has been phenomenal. They had control so many times. They did end up losing through that unnecessary push, 2 of their lads, but eventually again, that was nothing that was in their control. Talking about the way Royals have approached this, they were just looking for this. And with that, they are bringing in that domination towards the side of Star. Star, one player is knocked down, and TUF probably going to be able to capitalize on this as they know the information and they have the people in their crosshairs of Star.
Well, let's see if they can, convert anything. One's a symbiote, the other one's a god of thunder, and can they together, get this game? That's one of the most important things. Well, TE is spotted. TE is in a lot of trouble, and if you make a wrong move, you will be spotted down. One more shot. Oh! Barely survives Clown, but from the other side, Stars players, they don't go for mercy, they go for kills, and they would love to get those numbers for themselves. But no, Paraboy steals the kill. Paraboy steals the kill, but onto the other side, he gets the other one. Oh no, Team Star, they thought they had him. They thought they had him, but the kills were taken away. Royal Charlie takes on TF Thor. Meanwhile, Venom still surviving, but for how long can he survive? That's the most important thing. He has 9 kills. Can he get more? Oh, 55 damage on Paraboy. How much longer can he actually survive in this game? And look at this. This is a 1v3. Obviously, one player's down though, but 29 bullets. That's the most important thing. What I want is the teams to have fight against each other, and that's brilliant. Can he steal the kills? Can he get those kills? Will we see a person going to 10 kill marker? That's important right now.
With that, we've only got these 3 teams remaining, and in that TUF, only 1-man army for the side of TUF. On the other side, of course, Star still has 3 men alive, and they have a really good cover of that rock supporting them on the other side. Royal Paraboy is also a 1-man army, so of course, the conversation moves on down towards 3v1v1, and in that, it is a very fanned approach. TUF Venom taking an even more fanned approach. He better start pushing on along, or else it is going to be a bit troublesome for him.
He's going to go for the crate of his teammate just to see if he finds any utilities. He's right next to the crate of his teammate that you can see TUF Venom. He's just gonna, because if his pixels does the crate, he might as well just find something just to get the hold of it. So on to the other side, if we just talk about this one, TUF Venom is just out here. Fury, well, can they spot someone? Paraboy is on to the other direction as well. This is a really, really, really tricky stance. I mean, the first one to shoot now out of these 2 players makes the mistake as well. Because suppose if Venom shoots, Paraboy will see here. Those 3 players will see there. If Paraboy shoots, Venom will see onto that direction, and Star as well. So anyone who makes the mistake of shooting might be the one to go down. Well, it's just one thing. Will that person finish the job? Look at Fury. The helmet's totally done for.
The helmet certainly is done for. With that, he certainly has a vest supporting him. He's trying to jump on across and try and find some information, but of course, they do need to keep in mind that the wall, that is the blue death wall, will not let them stay there for long, and Team TUF is eliminated. He was so close to that edge, and with that, of course, it is now a 3v1 situation. Royal Paraboy all by himself. He tries to take a shot. He certainly does knock down the player, and with that, he takes out another shot, and this is just phenomenal. Fury has no idea where exactly did that shot come from. Paraboy stands up, and he's able to just push on along. He's got the cover, and he will be able to convert that almost into just 1 health remaining, and it is his game. What a massive play this was. A chicken dinner, well-deserved chicken dinner for the lad, and what a perfect control.
What did just happen? Paraboy, one's in Nova XQF, the other one's in Royal. What a gameplay! 10 kills, 25 points, 1v3 in the final moment. Wow!
Boy, oh boy, 20 damage, just perfect numbers being brought up there from the side of Royal, but indeed, what a massive play this was. You're talking about one game that you need. This is the game that Royals needed, and what perfect way to clutch it out. It wasn't fair fight as well. It was a 3v1 situation, but just being so aware in that final fight and the final circle.
The only thing was Team Star had to get 30 meters inside the circle.
Right.
Now that 30 meters is going to feel a lot of distance.
Oh yes.
Because that 30 meters costs them what? 4 points. 1 for the kill, 3 for the placement, 15 and 12.
Exactly, and that is just sad. That is sad. It should have been their game, but again, I mean, you talk about the way they were positioned into that final circle, it was just at the edge, and they were, of course, probably just thinking, all right, we've got the perfect support of the rock, but for how long? For how long? The ball is coming for you, and that is exactly what happened against them.
Exactly, that is exactly what happened against them. But if we're just talking about all the other things that just happened, let's have a look at the MVP, and I want to see, is it someone from Royal? All right, it's 9 kills if you get that. That's brilliant. 15-16. So we saw 20 damage from a team, 15-16 from one player. That's from TUF, although 227 healing and 4 assists done as well.
Wow, that is perfect. I mean, a team player indeed.
This was a brilliant game.
Yep, with that, let's also have a look at the top players from this game. And in that, of course, Venom will be up top with 9 kills, followed very closely by Paraboy from Royal with 8 kills. GG.
Well, Destroyer and Badshah, 4 and 3. Look at the difference, 9, 8, then 4 and 3. Like,
wow, just wow, wow, wow. With that, let's also have a look at this match's ranking. And of course, we did see Royal take a chicken dinner with 10 kills, but Team TUF with 12 kills were not that far behind.
Well, yes, that's totally true. 10, 12. Then we talk about the other teams as well. You can see Starops, less number of kills, but good placement points. You know, that just counts out here. F4, good kills, good placement, and that's one thing. Expandables, 8 kills, 4 players. So yeah, the teams were doing decent for themselves.
This is just the game that all these teams needed. I mean, you talk about Retribution, you talk about that is just perfect play from all of those teams, and that is just absolutely perfect. But as we bring it down to the end, this is just phenomenal play. We certainly do need to find out the best of the best plays, for which of course it is time to call upon the Oppo moments and go through this entire fiasco that started off on Erangel.
Exactly. I mean, if we're just talking about this one, you can see you know, when the starting fights happened, Novo Noise area, that's where it all just began, and slowly and steadily moving up forward onto the things and situations. Somehow, you know, it was a big curveball that was just going around the players. TUF, they started a good fight, they thought they had it, and they did have it. TG, like the things were not in their favor in this one fight.
Absolutely, they've certainly not. And then in this conversation right here, as we move on down towards Royal, they did push on along and get that compound in their favor, but as soon as they did so, the circle just made a curveball and they had to rush along to find their happy ground.
Well, at this moment as well, you can see, like, once you get an open ground area and you are the one that are hunting the people, you will get all the fights, and that's what the players were doing out in this one, and it kind of felt brilliant talking about this. And slowly and slowly we're moving to the final movement. Look at this. Paraboy takes down 1, takes down 2, sees the third one, does a lot of damage, but you know, everything was done to the critical core of this game.
Wow, just perfect play from that lad for his team, and that was just so very much needed. With that, of course, that will result in the overall ranking as well for the team of Royal. So let's find out where exactly do they place themselves.
Well, if we're just talking about this one, Magnus is having a really good lead with 1 chicken dinner, but 61 placement. One, that means a consistency count, 65 kills as well.
Wow.
PMCO Esports onto the second, NFP onto the third. Like, top 3 is still stable, but TUF had a good jump. Like, their games today were brilliant.
They certainly were. They made a big jump indeed. And talk about Team Groundup, they have of course been brought down, but that is a-okay. They will have tomorrow to shine back up again. And Team F4 Star Ops, they have been phenomenal as well. As you move across the board, you start looking at, of course, teams that have just been perfect. Like, for example, the Royals. I mean, they jumped up quite a big lead.
The Royals had a good jump in this one match for sure. That 1 chicken is going to help them. BFM was out there. And then moving up forward, as we just talk about some other teams from 17 to 24, this is where Expandables is. I mean, they had a good last game. Not good with the kills though, but if we just talk about all the other things, we still have to see, you know, how everything just moves up forward. But hey, moving up forward, if we just talk about the final page, that's where Stoners is. I mean, Stoners, Entity, Redstone, they still have to, and not Redstone, I mean, Redstone can have good games, but Entity, like, 16 points in 8 games. They need to pick up the pace right now.
Oh, they certainly do. No question about it. I mean, talk about RS, Redstone, PK, that is going to be, as well as TS, that's going to be Team Stoner. They do certainly need to showcase a bit more in the final 2 days. Otherwise, there's no moving away from the group stages for them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But today's games, I mean, those were important. Those were needed. Those were amazing. When we talk about, you know, the stuff that was happening today, some amazing fights that happened.
Wow.
TUF, all, you know, I would still say, Magnus's player, Skep's last moment clutches that he was doing. Amazing game.
Not just 1 game, but 2 games, 3 games in a row. Just beautiful play from that lad indeed. With that, our day number 4 comes to an end. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back again tomorrow. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.
Because you're everything I need. Let's get it.